everybody. Welcome to this very special charity one-shot with Jasper's Game Day. Blah, I'm going to get my words out. I'm out of practice. I'm not used to streaming on a Saturday. Here we go. For charity one-shot for Jasper's Game Day, raising money for suicide awareness and mental health. If you don't know me, my name is Mark Hulmes. I'm the Dungeon Master for High Rollers. You might have also seen me on Critical Role and a few little one-shots and other shows here and there, like Knights of Evening Star as well on the D&D channel. And yeah, we are going to be playing a very exciting a fun little one-shot, maybe with some certain movie references going on in the background as well. And we're going to be playing that today. Just to mention again, a huge thank you to Fenway for organizing another amazing Jasper's Game Week and getting all of us together, all the sponsors and partners for supporting. And this whole stream is all about raising money. So there are donations. There's going to be like little reroll things that you can do. We're going to be tracking all of the money raised and stuff like that going on as well. So if you can, please give generously to raise money for an awesome cause and enjoy this wonderful stream. I'm joined by a wonderful set of players. I'm actually going to ask you guys to introduce yourselves, just to kind of like say who you are and maybe where people can find you after the game and stuff like that. And I'm going to start, because I know that he's such a professional at this, I'm going to start with my dear friend, Mr. Jim Zub. So who are
Thanks,
you, and then where might people find you or know you from?
I appreciate it. My name's Jim Zub. I'm a writer primarily known for comic book stuff, but a long time gamer. In this space, I'm probably best known for my sword and sorcery work, including the official Dungeons and Dragons comics that I've been writing since 2014. Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons, both miniseries, and the box set that Wizards released. I'm the architect of the D&D Young Adventurers guides, bringing new players into the hobby. And I write a little book for Marvel called Conan the Barbarian. So this is definitely my jam, and I absolutely love this stuff. If you're not already following me, I'm on Twitter at Jim Zub, and my website is Jim Zub. And on there, you can also read some tutorials on how to break into the business, how to write your own stories, and pitch your ideas.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jim. And then if we just go around and it doesn't have to be as exhaustive as Jim's introduction, just who you are and stuff like that, so that people know who you are and who you're playing. Let's go with Cassidy.
Hi, I'm Cassidy. I'm going to be playing Sparkle, and I'm so excited. This is my third Jasper's Game Day, and I cannot wait.
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you, Cassidy. Dr. Megan, tell us about yourself and introduce yourself, please.
I'm Dr. Megan Connell. I'm the co-founder of Geeks Like Us. I'm also a therapeutic game master, where I use Dungeons and Dragons as a therapy tool, running anywhere from 1 to 3 games a week. And I'm also the dungeon master for the live play game Clinical Role, where all of my players are other therapeutic game masters or psychologists. And that's on every other Monday on Geeks Like Us.
That's the best name as well. What a great name for it as well. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining us. Nate, do you want to tell us about yourself as well? Just do this. We'll run through everyone.
Hey everyone, I'll be nice and quick. My name is Nate Elder. I'm from Perth, Western Australia. I'm a writer, DM, and co-founder of Wooten Forge Gaming Accessories. We make stuff like that DM screen, dice boxes, and all sorts of fun stuff to really pimp out your table.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And then Shannon, and then we'll end with Margaret.
I'm Shannon. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This is the first time participating in a Jasper's Game Day stream, so I'm super excited. Just a big D&D fan. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. And then Margaret as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Tell us about yourself.
Thanks for being here, Mark, and taking the time for this. I'm Margaret Monson, and I am recently a retired therapist, so this is very important work that they do here at Jasper's Game Day. This is my 3rd year watching, but first year on this stream.
Wow.
Moving to Portugal soon, and just moved careers into voiceover acting. So
amazing.
Looking forward to starting that up and getting that going. And so this opportunity presented itself, and I just thought, hey, say hi to Mark and do something good, do something good for a good cause.
And that's the main thing, dude. And that's the thing I wanted to point out, is that Cassidy, Nate, Shannon, and Margaret all got these seats in the game by donating and supporting Jasper's Game Week. So they are our kind of stars of the show who have actually kind of given to the charity and won these places. So we're going to try and make an awesome game for them. And then we've got Jim and Dr. Megan are going to be supporting me in making that an awesome experience. There we go. Look at that teamwork.
That's right. Only on charity streams is there such teamwork. Only on
Exactly.
charity.
The rest of the time, Jim's a right diva. I got to just wrangle him, and he's like,
destructive chaos. Yes.
Amazing. Well, then, good players. Shall we play some Dungeons and Dragons?
Ooh.
Yes.
I've heard of it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I've heard of it. It's a little known game. Let's kind of talk a little bit about the setup. This adventure is going to be taking place in Waterdeep, the city of wonders along the Sword Coast of the Forgotten Realms. All of you are level 5, so you're established adventurers. You're people who have done something in the town, or you've done something well enough that you have attracted the attention of a noble who is going to be hiring you for a job. And we're going to be jumping straight in with you guys arriving to hear what this offer is or what this job is going to be. If you guys want to know each other or have heard of each other, that's totally cool. We can always kind of retroact stuff in and be like, you guys can say like, maybe I knew you because of this thing, and then we can kind of go from there. It's going to be a very kind of free-form game, with it being a one-shot. It's going to be very silly and hopefully a lot of fun as well. And yeah, with that, we will just jump in. The Sunglory Estate is a beautiful estate built into the hills around the city of Waterdeep, with a tall iron fence around a well-kept house and what appears to be a converted guard tower within the estate's grounds. Militia of the Sea Ward in their blue and gold uniforms stand guard at the gates, but invite you inside to see the master of the house at his request. You are led to the converted tower, from where you can see flashes of blue light and the faint sound of thunder before a thick plume of smoke erupts out of the side window and up into the air. But neither of the guards seem particularly perturbed by this, as they leave you at the doors and say that the master will be with you shortly. So you guys have like a moment here if you want to introduce yourselves to each other or describe maybe what you look like. Tell us a little bit about your characters. We can always go around and basically have that. So if you've got like a cool visual description, or if you just want to tell us what race and class you're playing, that's totally fine too. So you guys have got a few moments before this noble arrives to offer you this job.
Wants to dive in first with description?
Go ahead.
Go for it. Go for it, Margaret.
Okay, well, my name is Thunder of the Dawn, but people call me Dawn. What you first notice about me is my height. I'm close to 7 feet tall, and I have an athletic build, kind of bigger female, but not, expected. In fantasy world, I move with grace and finesse. I have this beautiful mane of platinum hair with bronze streaks through it.
What character race are you?
I'm a tabaxi.
Ah.
I wasn't going to say it. And then I was going to go, and I have the burnt sienna fur.
Oh, nice.
You'd recognize me as a tabaxi. And then I'm wearing this green spun mantle that has a hood on it. It looks kind of tribalish, with a wooden bead necklace with a symbol of my deity, Ubtao. It's a maze. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of am more enthusiastic to find out what the heck we're going to be doing, because I'm like, go for it.
So kind of like pacing or sort of like, hopping
okay,
around.
let's get going.
Okay.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Just before we move on, there is, and I'm going to mention this as well, there you can use the Tiltify link to buy rerolls for the players or for me, if you'd like, throughout the game, which I'm sure, and because we've just had one come in from Rebecca, which is a reroll for me in case my dice don't feel like rolling natural 20s. They will. Don't buy rerolls for me. Buy rerolls for the players. 100% buy rerolls for them. I don't need them. So go ahead with that. But just a little reminder that that's all going to go to the charity as well. So if you want to chip in and buy some people some rerolls, please do. Okay. Who would like to go next? Who wants to describe their character and tell us a little bit about them next? If not, I'm going to pick.
Heading up the front of the group, you see a small halfling woman with a blonde ponytail sticking out of the very, very wide hat, a long studded leather jacket open with pouches and pockets and all sorts of knickknacks and trinkets. And she's constantly looking around, got a beat on everything that moves, and is kind of half telling a story to the rest of the party about, this one time when we got stuck behind a cyclops. Turns out the trick is go for the eye. Just regaling them with tales of treasure hunting.
Tales and stuff. And I imagine, and the character's name is Talisman, right?
Talisman.
And with the hat, is this more kind of like a kind of witch hunter's hat, or is this like a kind of like detective's trilby hat, or?
It's a bit of a wider trilby.
Okay, nice. Perfect. I love it. Shannon, would you like to tell us about your character?
Yeah, of course. My character's name is Alexia. She is a half-elven sorcerer. Not terribly tall, because I myself am very short, but taller than myself. She is wearing black and purple, like very black and purple kind of robes. Not sure if they're permanent or not, but like all kinds of like tribalish looking kind of tattoos up her arms, all over the place. Her hair is pretty long and straight, kind of like mine, but with some purple and like braids and stuff inside it.
Nice. Do we see like any scales or anything on Elixir, or are they kind of hidden underneath the robes and stuff like that?
A little bit hidden. You can probably see a couple blackish scales.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Jim, do you want to take us away with who you're playing?
Sure. So Bethry the Melody is a human bard. He's got like a Van Dyke goatee going on, and he's got a big, ridiculous foppish hat with a large feather plume sticking off of it. Nice. He has several instruments sort of strapped to his back at the ready, and a bunch of bags because he carries most of his possessions on him. He doesn't have, let's say, a regular place to stay.
Okay.
He showed up a little bit late, and he's a little bit nervous. And when he sees Talisman, he's even a little bit more nervous because maybe they've had some interactions in the past and it wasn't so great. And so he's just sort of like, oh,
I love it.
just sort of looking around, pretending that he doesn't see her because she's a halfling. He's just looking overhead so he doesn't get the
make sure he doesn't
line.
look down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love it.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Following up with our triplet of bards, I believe. Cassidy, do you want to tell us about who you're playing?
I am playing Sparkle the Bard, who is probably following up her fellow bard late because she wanted to stay back playing her lyre, and she's just fun, and she doesn't have fancy clothes because she herself is the spectacle.
Right.
She is a pink tiefling.
Yep.
So yeah, she draws some attention, but she loves it. Okay.
Perfect. Very, very fitting. And then Dr. Megan, tell us about your bard.
Oh, yes, my bard. So she's probably the smallest member of the party. She's also a halfling, but she's short for a halfling at only 2.5 feet tall.
Oh my
but
gosh.
she has a personality. Like when she walks into a room, everyone notices, and she quickly like sums everybody up. What you're seeing as she walks in is she's got this large bag kind of on her bag, and there's like lots of pockets in it, and she just always is pulling things out, and like probably walking in, I imagine actually walking up to Bartholomew and seeing like he's a little smudge on his face and pulls out like a damp handkerchief and just come here, nip, and wiping off his face and cleaning it up.
Crawls up the side of his leg to reach his face.
Nice.
Yes, love it.
Yes.
Love
And
it.
I think also when she sees Dawn is here too, is gonna kind of give Dawn like a knowing nod of just like, okay, we can take care of everybody in this room. We've got this.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Kind of that. Well, yeah. We got
The look of the guardians, the moms of the team, kind of like, yeah, we'll make sure everyone comes out of this okay. As you guys are summing this up and you're kind of sharing these glances, and Bethry's kind of avoiding looking at Talisman and stuff like that, the door to this tower kind of flies open, and there's this big plume of smoke that accompanies it, enough where you kind of have to kind of cough and blink your eyes as this kind of acrid smoke plumes out. And standing in the middle of it all is a soot-smudged, very well dressed, but edges of his fine shirts have been sort of burnt or tattered or are covered in dirt, in a fine sort of waistcoat, like a leathered waistcoat. You can see a tool belt around his waist, is a very handsome half-elf, in fact. A very handsome half-elf man. Sort of blonde hair pulled into like a ponytail with a little bit of kind of like stray hairs at the front. Very strong, kind of Nathan Fillion, if this man were to be played by a Hollywood actor. A very Nathan Fillion kind of face. And he kind of looks around, but the shocking thing is his eyes at first appear gigantic, and it's only until he takes off this pair of goggles that you see that they are in fact normal half-elf eyes. They were just magnified by some sort of apparatus he was wearing on his head, and he kind of pops them off and looks around with a blink, and he's like, you're here. Oh, fantastic. Brilliant. Yes. Come inside. Come. Yes. Excellent. You're the ones that I asked for, the ones that I've been told about. Yes, please. Don't mind the smoke. And kind of blows it away. And with a kind of gesture, this kind of gust of wind blows all the smoke away, revealing a very eclectic, chaotic workshop inside. You can see papered schematics printed up on the wall. You can see half-built wooden frames and devices and tools just spread out everywhere, and he's just like, come in. Now I would like to, if we can, just get straight to the matter at hand, the business that I'd like to hire you all on for, if you're still willing, of course.
Hiring's good. Like, do you have a total involved? I'm carrying let's say debts, and I was just curious what kind of level of recompense we're talking about here.
Of course, yes, of course, payment, of course, yes, of course, you want payment.
I care a lot about the mission very deeply, whatever it is for money. Yes.
yes. Well, the offer that I'm currently making, it's the same offer I've made to previous employees who didn't wish to take on the work, but it's 5,000 gold to be divided as you see fit amongst your party, as it were.
When you say you, do you mean as I see fit?
Well, I would imagine that there is some sort of, I don't know how adventuring groups work. Do you have some sort of contract or negotiations with each other, or is this sort of an eclectic affair? Do you have a guild? I
try and avoid legal entanglements where possible. Cash is good. Cash is preferred.
Of course. Well, 5,000 gold is the offer that I'm willing. But, if there's any other way that I could assist any of you, I'm more than happy to help. Perhaps a few of my creations may be of use. And kind of gestures around. And there's almost a hint of he's expecting you to know who he is, as he does gesture around. You don't know who this guy is.
I'll just start poking around some of the contraptions and just sort of, analyzing them or whatever. Yeah.
I'm pulling out another, basically baby wipe, and just come here.
Yes, sorry, my dear. Yes, and he kind of lowers himself down. Thank you. Thank you.
If a practical talisman is going to go up to the noble and say, "What's the job?"
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
I join him.
Yes. Sorry, and it's quite simple, really. My name is Lord Harvin Sunglory. I'm something of a creator, an inventor, a very fine patron of the Temple of Gond here in the Seaward. You may have heard of it, the House of the Inspired Hands. Well, tomorrow is the Day of Wonder. It's a parade that celebrates invention and creation in the city, and I've got something big. This is going to change Waterdeep. No, it's going to change Faerun forever. This is going to be huge.
No
I need
pressure.
some help. No pressure. No. The invention is it's going to be amazing, stunning, but I need some people to just, keep an eye over the temple for the next few hours, maybe help out with some of the tasks that still need to be completed. And also, and I know that some of you are performers of a certain kind, I would very much like to have a grand fanfare or performance for the parade as part of my unveiling.
What exactly have you heard about my performances?
Oh,
what makes you think he was talking about you?
Oh, I mean, sure. I mean, just in general. I'm sure.
Well, is it Mr. I'm trying to remember names. There were so many options. Bethry. Bethry, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I've certainly heard things about you, not
Oh,
necessarily
really? What
about your
kind of
performances.
things? What
Oh,
kind of things?
You know, he'll
specifically?
do anything for gold.
Hmm.
He's got a lot of debts to pay off, so you know he's up for anything. Is mainly the things I was told, which to me says that you're a man of many talents.
Yeah, yes, that is correct. Well, I'll take that as the compliment that I'm sure you intended.
Yes, indeed. And then Sparkle, of course, we've all heard about your performances, and I was hoping that you would maybe perform during our grand unveiling for it. Is it Gania Nina? I've heard about a little about you, but you seem to be well spoken of amongst some of the Bard colleges. But not, are you a performer, or are you more of a sort of sort of scholar, or
A little of all.
Oh,
Mostly a
well,
caretaker, making sure things go as according to plan, and everybody
that is
has what they
exactly
need.
what I need, my dear. Certainly, there are many things that need doing at the temple. My assistant, he's a bit of a rapscallion and hasn't quite got everything finished in time. Miss Talisman, I know that you have something of a reputation for an inquiring mind. You notice details and kind of solved many mysteries and crimes.
Very
These-
Let's
thorough,
certainly
yes.
try.
Yeah.
There are these well, my inventions are very expensive, and my fear is that people may want to try and acquire them. So your keen eye and mind, along with Miss Elixia's magical prowess, I was hoping might be able to provide some defensive and investigative means around the temple.
Oh,
How
it is.
expensive are we talking about for these items? Like they're really rare.
Nothing that you need
Oh
concern
no, I'm
yourself
just
with,
curious.
Mr.
Just curious. Oh,
You see the Lord kind of look at Talisman and then sort of like wiggles his eyes towards Bethry's way. And then, of course, I've heard much about our traveler from strange lands, Thunder, Dawn.
Yes, it's a tribal thing, the name, but you can just call me Dawn.
Yes.
I would say my piece of this is not so protective, but you don't mess with me and don't mess with what I'm
Perfect.
trying to do.
We need that. I need
Yes,
that.
I would
you
say
know-
a champion of the temple would be kind of my thing.
Incredible. Exactly what we need. Certainly in the protective services. It seems
Yes.
that the group of you will fulfill the needs perfectly. So the fee, the payment is 5,000 gold. I would need you to start immediately by heading down to the temple, the House of Inspired Hands, helping my assistant Segmore with anything that he needs doing, and then spending the night to make sure that nothing untoward happens to not just my inventions, but the inventions of anybody who is presenting during the Day of Wonder, and then being there for the unveiling tomorrow, which I'm sure will be stunning and marvelous for all who attend.
So listening to the Lord, is there any deceiving piece or any kind of thing that looks like it's beyond the job at hand? That
Sure.
He's really kind of expecting more from this chaos.
Sure. Anybody who is of the inclination to worry about such matters may make an insight check. Absolutely.
all right.
I'm actually just
Right.
gonna talk to him.
In perfect.
You can also
I'll
do
just
that as
roll.
well. We'll do the
Yeah.
rolls and then we'll do the talking. We also
And
have
too,
quite a
Nina's
few.
got eyes
Go
on
on.
Bertha. Like she's just like, as soon as Bertha started asking about like the cost of all
The
materials,
value,
it's like,
yeah.
yeah. she's-
I'm gonna lean over to Sparkle and I'm gonna be like, "You've got some really good like gigs lately. Have you got an agent? Like the Bards colleges are kind of I'm trying to get in a little more over there. I've been doing a lot of stuff in a lot of places, but if you got I'm really curious to see your stuff live. We should talk. That'd be cool."
So
Bold
as
of
you're
you
kind of
to
having this
assume I need
conversation.
an agent.
What was that?
Bold of you to assume I need an agent.
Oh, I mean, if it's all you, I mean, even better. Cool. I'll just watch you. I'll stand in your wake and get some tips. You know, that's cool. That's cool too, I guess.
So as Bethry and Sparkle are having this conversation, what do we get on our insight checks? Those of you who wanted to make them.
I rolled a whopping 2, so I got a 5.
You're distracted talking to Sparkle. Sorry, Shannon, go.
I got a 12.
I got a
12? Margaret?
21.
21. Nate,
Yeah,
did you make a check?
The detective,
Sorry.
who has a +8 to insight, 10.
10. Nice.
Yeah, and I got +6, thankfully.
I'm a little distracting.
Yeah, I think that Talisman's probably kind of maybe like some of the gadgets and gizmos are distracting, but also Bethry is probably quite distracting, like nattering away to Sparkle. Dr. Megan, did you make an insight check or?
No, I'm just mostly like, well, I'm keeping my eye on Bethry. Just
Okay, perfect.
maybe even trying to intimidate him to behave.
Yeah, so I think that Talisman and Elixir, you guys, this lord definitely, he's very eccentric. You can tell that the way that he's kind of bouncing around these topics, his very sort of, artifice, invention nature. You don't get the impression that there's anything untoward here. He seems to be being as forthright as he seems. Dawn, the only thing I would say, you kind of get the same vibe, right? You looking at his body language, there's no deception on display here. The only thing I would pick up that I think that your quite high insight would pick up on here is that he seems to be quite scatter-minded. So if there was something more to this, chances are he's probably forgotten or doesn't realize that he needs to mention it. He's kind of all over the place. Now, Spark, you said you wanted to just talk to Lord Harvon. So what would you like to say?
That's an awful lot of money for security and performances. Are you sure that's all
Is it?
you need?
Oh, should I be perhaps paying you less? I assumed that.
No.
You
got to keep in mind, Sparkle. Let me explain to you here. Waterdeep has got a different kind of economic structure, right? It's very expensive living around here. This ain't no Baldur's Gate or nothing. Like we got to make some. You gotta pay the rent, right? So, no, that's right in line with my typical overnight rates. Yeah.
I see. Well, I must admit, these things are a little bit beyond me. I've not really. I'm just sort of always here. I'm always building. I donate quite generously to the temple. I just thought that this seems to be the sort of amount. I forgot my accent for a little bit there. This seems to be the sort of amount that seems a fair compensation. I mean,
very fair.
I don't need to worry about the money. Once my invention, the people of Waterdeep see my invention, this is going to take off. I'm not going to overcharge for it. I want to make sure that everybody can benefit from my wonder, but we'll make some sort of maybe the city can pay me a fee and I'll recoup the money from that for certain. He kind of looks around looking for it. Did Shannon, Elixir, did you have anything you wanted to ask or say or?
Yeah, what is this invention that you're unveiling and what we're protecting?
Well, I don't want to reveal too much because I want you to be as amazed as everybody else, but it's quite revolutionary. Now, I must ask, it's currently at the temple. I ask you not to take a look inside. That's part of my payment. I ask that you don't peek until tomorrow. You'll see it revealed with everybody else. But until then, keep it a secret. Only Segmore and I know exactly the full nature of this incredible device that I've built. But you'll see. You'll see.
Well, let's see this. Let's meet this
walks
Segmore guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was that, my dear? You were asking a question.
How will we know if someone walks out with it if we don't know what it looks like?
You'll know. You'll see. I can give you directions to the temple. My assistant Segmore is waiting for my hired help, and I can have my guards come down with you there. But I will see if this is all agreed. If we're all agreed now, I will see you in the morning, ready for the day of wonder.
Sounds
Look
good.
forward to seeing you there.
Great.
Marvelous. Thank you so
nothing
much.
to sign, right? Like no documentation.
Contract.
We're all
We're all honorable folks here. This is a
handshakes
verbal
all
agreement.
around. You guys.
Yes. Oh, he goes around. He shakes Bethry's hand, and he shakes everyone's hand as he goes around.
It's good.
Quite gladly. He kind of has to he does that awkward thing that a lot of short people don't like, where he kind of crouches down to like shake Dr. Megan to shake Nina and Talisman's hands. If not, otherwise, you guys can get led to the House of the Inspired Hands. It is a large temple set within the Sea Ward, one of the richer districts, one of the upper class districts of Waterdeep. And above this kind of large pantheon-like building, there is a giant symbol of a cog, the symbol of Gond, the gnomish god of invention and creation. And you can see that out in front there is a large square. Sections of it have been kind of cordoned off. You can see that there are some city militia kind of patrolling around. You can see that there are large floats decorated to look
as
like
we walk by the guards.
so you're kind of like pulling it up. Yeah, sure. I'll make a quick little check here. Oh, I might use one of these incredible re-rolls I've been built. I rolled a 3.
Hey, yeah.
That's 2 3s. So Bethry, unaccosted, walks past the guards. But you can see that there's all these giant floats of all sorts of monsters and figures from Waterdeep's history, famous adventurers. There's one which appears to be a kind of bald man with blue tattoos, and a giant hamster is one of the floats. You see a giant dragon. There seems to be a kind of very odd almost like a giant submarine, but a fantasy submarine kind of float that's been built. They're all being prepared out in the square, but outside the temple entrance itself, you can see that quite a large crowd has gathered, and they're all trying to peer in through the windows and get a look of things, and you have to be escorted by the guards into the building itself. And you can see that as soon as the doors are opened, everybody's trying to get a look inside. You can hear the crowds very excited, speculating on what things might be shown off in the Day of Wonder Festival. But when you make your way inside, imagine a kind of beautiful museum layout. You have like these tall columns that stretch down the main sort of like thoroughfare of the temple. You can see that there are doors that lead off into other areas, but this seems to be the main sort of area of worship. And there have been several stands set up where you can see all sorts of strange inventions and metalworks being created. There's a couple of people walking around still working on them, tinkering with them. But in the center of this large museum is this large tarp that's been stretched over this huge thing that seems to be in the very middle of the temple. And it's completely covered by a frame in this tarp. And stood in front of it with his hands on the hips is a small gnomish man. He wears brightly colored robes. He has a big, thick pair of spectacles. You see that he's missing a few fingers on one of his hands. And he kind of looks around and he sees you. He's like, oh, you must be the ones that Harvon has sent. Greetings, my name is Segmorson. I am the assistant caretaker here at the temple. You're the ones that Lord Harvon has sent, yes? I don't believe we have any.
Yep.
Yeah.
Marvelous, finally. Well, at least that nobleman has done something right. We've got some help here, at least. I don't know. What have you been told?
That we're here to guard the thing under the tarp, we suppose. That we're
And
to
celebrate
protect it.
its unveiling.
And celebrate the unveiling. Yeah.
Grand manner.
Oh, yeah.
That useless man. He's not giving you half of it. Look, there's a bunch of things that need doing before tomorrow. I'm going to need your help. And then, yes, you will need to stay here as a guard. We have some temple guards, but Harvon has insisted that we have external involvement. I think it's a waste of time, but he's generously donated to the temple, which means the higher priests have said I'm to accommodate his requests. I have a few things that need doing before nightfall. I'm hoping that the group of you will be able to assist in these.
Well, if they involve music, we got you.
Well, maybe
nailed
not.
down there.
Maybe not music immediately. I do know that Harvon wants some sort of fanfare tomorrow. He was supposed to hire some performers. You're the first ones who have arrived. So tomorrow, there will need to be some sort of musical performance to announce the unveiling. That needs to be coordinated, practiced. Make sure that you're ready to go for that. I also need some people to help finish the decorations, many of the platforms for the devices. And he gestures to, there are 4 of them laid out on stands. And you can see that 3 of them are still being tinkered with and worked on by some strange people. He gestures, these are the other inventions being displayed as part of the Day of Wonder celebration tomorrow. They need platforms and decorations to show off what they can do. That needs fixing. There's also that crowd that you saw outside. They're causing all sorts of problems with deliveries. They're trying to sneak sneak in. They need to be gotten rid of. We need them to be dispersed so that the guards can properly manage it. And then finally, I need somebody to make sure that this place is secure. I need someone to go and make sure that all the doors and windows cannot be accessed from the outside. We need to make sure that this place is secure for the evening. So those are my immediate things. If you can help me with those, that would be very marvelous of you. I would greatly appreciate your assistance.
Well,
I think I could definitely help with security.
I was thinking the crowd control, and I pull out this pipe of haunting, thinking, okay, I'm going to go practice.
Okay.
To Talisman, I'll go, I think I have an idea to help with security as well.
Wonderful. Many hands make
If
light
you
work.
could help with that, of course, please. I do ask. There are several of the acolytes of the temple are still working on their devices. Maybe check in with them, see if there's anything they need doing. Make sure you familiarize yourself with their devices so that they can be properly announced and displayed tomorrow. They're all acolytes of the temple, so they have my utmost trust. But yes, those are the things I need doing. Do you have any questions? I do really have a lot I need to be getting on with today.
Oh, no, we'll take care of everything. We got this well in hand. I look around, I see such stylish people as Elixir here, and I know that's all we need is just like a good, you go do whatever you need, and we'll do other things.
Marvelous. Marvelous.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all for your assistance. At least something good will come of Harvon's involvement. Still, well, if you have anything, if you have any needs, call for me or speak with one of these other acolytes here, and they will be able to fetch me. A good day to you all. And Segmore kind of like, he has to pick his robes up because they are too big for him. So he kind of picks them up and shuffles off somewhere else in the temple, his little kind of gnomish body bouncing and bopping away. And yeah, you guys are now left. You can see these other NPCs working on their devices. The devices themselves, there's definitely some oddities. Some of them look very odd, but they're working on those. You have the crowd outside, and then the security and all these little tasks. So what would you guys like to do? This is where I'm 100% handing it over to you guys now to tell me what you would like to do.
Well, I know.
Sorry, after you.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm going to cast Detect Magic just because of all the curiosities to see.
Sure, yeah. Alexia, did you want to use your wand for that as well, or do you want to just leave this all in Dawn's hand? No, it's fine. You can both do it.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'll use the wand of
because this place is quite big as well, right? So the two of you could scan the area together, kind of thing. There's definitely some magic going on in this place. The thing under the top, which is huge, like in fact it would be gargantuan in D&D sizes. It's massive. Heavily glows with all sorts of schools of magic. You see elements of conjuration, transmutation, evocation, abjuration, all different schools of magic. It's a very complicated device, whatever is under there. The smaller devices that you can see are kind of like laid out as if on display. There appears to be one of them, as you guys are making your way around with Detect Magic, one of them appears to be a large chair-shaped object with a completely solid base and then strange rod-like shapes protruding from the back. It is made of ceramic and metal, and there are elements of transmutation, conjuration, magic involved. It seems to be being worked on by, if I were to describe to you the most stereotypical wizard you can imagine, big long beard, like kind of like faded robes, big pointed hat, but he looks kind of gross, like he's covered in dirt and muck. There's food stuck in his beard. His eyes are very wild, and his eyebrows are kind of like bushy, and he's kind of glancing around very agitatedly as he's tinkering with this strange chair. That is definitely magical. You also see a silver dragonborn woman working on a pair of metallic birds. They, again, transmutation, conjuration, kind of typical artifice magic. She seems to be testing them where she speaks to one, and then the other one relays that message in her voice. So they're kind of like a connected kind of system. These two kind of squawking birds that she seems to be working on. There is also a dwarf, a dwarven person who is working on 4 dwarf-shaped robots that have barrels for chests, and they are pouring drinks out of their hands into little tankards, and they're kind of waddling around. They kind of look a bit Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, very brightly colored, gold gemstones kind of studded all over them, and they kind of waddle as they walk, and they say cheery dwarven in Dwarvish. They kind of say like, "Here's one on the house," and then they pour a drink into a tankard.
Amazing.
Kind of a little bit Chuck E. Cheese as well, element to them. The last one doesn't have anybody working on it, but it's actually the second most powerful aura of magic in the room, apart from this thing under the top. The fourth device is just a metallic frame that surrounds a large chunk of crystal. And you can see that nearby, small little objects like forks and a broom have come to life around the crystal. And as you, Elixir and Dawn, get closer, even parts of your own clothing, so like if you have like a scarf, the scarf begins to almost like move as if it's dancing. Like if you have like coins in your pockets, they begin kind of like coming out of your pockets and crawling up your arms and into your palms and things like that. But nobody's working on that one. That one seems to be empty. Apart from that, those are the most magical things in the room beyond yourselves. There doesn't appear to be any other sources of magic elsewhere. So
I'm leaning over to Elixir and I'm going to go, okay, so based on your detectinations, which one do you think is probably the most valuable out of all? Like which one do we need to like guard?
Sparkle is going to grab him by the arm and go, "We need to practice now."
Just want to make sure it's being guarded.
Away from the machinery.
I mean, anyone with eyes can probably see that the big one in the middle is probably the one we need to protect. Also, the one we're being paid to protect.
Yeah, you definitely get that impression that big one is the one that Lord Harvon is the one that worked on. So for sure.
So in looking around, are there any other people that look, like they're not suspicious, but they're kind of looking to see the same thing? Hey, which thing is more expensive? What thing, casing the
joint. So inside the temple, the only other people you've seen are Segmore, the sort of assistant that you saw, and then those three that I described earlier, the kind of crazy, the eccentric looking wizard, the silver dragonborn lady, and the dwarf. But they're all intently working on their own devices. They're not paying attention to anything else.
That's why I was
But the crowd outside, I mean, it was a big crowd, and they were all trying to look inside and see what they could see. So you think, Dawn, out of everybody, if somebody was going to be suspicious, they're probably out there. It was a big crowd.
Okay, so I head out there and start doing that, kind of checking out the crowd and kind of, using my size
presence to kind of scare it off. We'll come back to you in a second, Margaret.
No problem.
We'll Jim and Cassidy will come to you guys in a minute. Nina and Talisman, you guys wanted to go off and do some inspections on the security, right? What do you guys want to do? What are you guys looking for?
So I was thinking we need more eyes. So I'm going to go and get us some more eyes for the night, as many as I can. And I'm going to reach into my bag and I'm going to pull out like all kinds of rainbow chalk and like bags of cookies.
Okay.
I see where you're going with this, and I love it.
And Nina's going to slip out and go down a few alleys and start doing a little whistle that I assume she does to try and attract the different street urchins of the city.
Yes. And in fact, I know the perfect street urchins that you can hire. I just need to go and remember their names and find them in a certain book that I remember them being in.
The Baker Street Irregulars?
There is God, where are they? That's the thing, is I'm not even sure if I can remember what part of the book they're in, because there is a group of little naughty kids that would be perfect for this.
Oliver.
Yes, Oliver and his crew show up.
Yes.
If I can't find them quickly, then we'll absolutely go with Oliver the dwarf orphan and all of his friends. Because God, what are their names? It's been so long since I looked at Waterdeep stuff. Okay, I can't remember. So we're just going to go with Oliver the dwarven orphan and all of his friends.
The dwarfen.
The dwarfen. Yeah, exactly. The dwarfen. So you find like this.
That's why they pay me the big bucks, right there.
yeah, you go out and you find this, a bunch of, street kids who kind of patrol. They look like, because they pick the Seaward because it's full of rich nobles, right? So they really ham up the like, oh, please, ma'am, I don't have anything to eat. I'm so hungry. And like, they're really playing up. But you can see that these guys eat really well. They probably, pickpocket and pilfer plenty of food and dropped money and stuff like that from around this area. And they see you coming and they kind of glance at this halfling lady approaching them with a curious eye.
And she's going to just kind of come up and gather around. Come on.
Okay.
And food's not going to really inspire all of you that much, is it?
Not that much, miss, no. But if you've got some coins, and they kind of look around at each other.
Tell you what, how many of them are there?
Let's say I'll roll a d6. Okay, yeah, there's like 5. There's about 5 of these kids. Yeah.
She's going to pull out 5 gold coins just really quickly in between her fingers.
Yeah, they definitely, their eyes light up.
For now, you get another one, or perhaps 2 in the morning, if nothing happens to that temple and it remains safe.
We're not exactly guards, but we can keep an eye on it at least. Maybe let you know if someone's poking around or something like that. And they're kind of, you can see one of them, Oliver, the dwarfen, is quite bold. He's got like a very short beard coming in, but he's probably still quite young for a dwarf. And he's kind of like, hey, yeah, we can keep an eye on it. We're not going to fight anybody, but we can let you know if trouble happens.
And so what I'm going to give to each of the dwarvens is 1 gold. They're going to get 2 pieces of colored chalk and 5 ball bearings each to use to throw at the windows as signals if something's going wrong.
Yeah, they'll absolutely. This is a great idea. Yeah, they'll gladly take that. And you get the impression that they're kind of like, oh, this sounds kind of cool, actually. Like, yeah, we're gonna, this seems kind of dangerous and stuff. And so, like, yeah. They kind of take it on board and they kind of nod. Make just the last thing. Make a persuasion check for me, just to do as a kind of final. Let's see what impression you leave on these dwarvens.
Gladly.
You do have a reroll from Saya Shuri, who donated. I'll give you a reroll if you need it.
I'll take a dirty 20.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So yeah, the Oliver and company kind of like, all right, you got yourself a deal, lady. And they'll take the chalk and the ball bearings. And yeah, they'll kind of like follow you back to the temple. And then you can see they start splitting up and kind of taking corners. Probably making use of the gathered crowd. You see at least a couple of them slip into the crowd, and you see some hands darting towards money pouches and things like that as they, make the use of it. Yeah,
yep,
exactly.
to be expected. But yeah, then she'll go back up, find talisman. Like, all right, so we've got eyes patrolling all around outside.
Yeah, you can't find her. While you've been doing that, Talisman has zipped into the crowd and disappeared. And she's doing a perimeter of temple, casing the joint, trying to figure out how she would break in.
Okay, so this sounds like a really great chance for an investigation check for me to like to kind of like figure out like see if there's any hidden spots or like shadowy areas that you might be able to use.
Yeah. I'll take that. 24.
24. Okay. So there's a couple of things. There's certainly not an easy way into this place. It is a temple. It's very well funded. So its doors are like barred and secured. Its windows all have proper locks and latches. The easiest point of access would probably be coming in from the where the acolytes themselves go and sleep. Like there's living quarters and sleeping areas at the back of the temple. Somebody could, in theory, maybe break into one of their quarters and then make their way into the main temple coming in from that way. There is also a very large skylight, but it's very high up, and somebody would only really be able to get up there with the use of magic, which is, in Waterdeep. Yeah, you can walk up the walls, and looking around, there's this large skylight. Very, the parts of it can be opened for cleaning and things like that. So yeah, somebody who's a very skilled thief might be able to use this to try and sneak in as well.
Cool. I would like to fortify the hell out of this this skylight.
Yeah. How would you like to do so?
So I have a regular lock, and I would like to just put a scattering of caltrops just around the roof.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. scattering caltrops, you lock it down. You can do those kind of preparations. Perfect. All right. So whilst Talisman is doing that, Nina, you come back and Talisman's not around, but you just assume that Talisman has gone off to do talisman-y things. Meanwhile, Sparkle and Bethry, in fact, actually, no, we'll do Dawn because Margaret wanted to do stuff at the very start. I'll come back to that. So Dawn, you step out into the crowd, and as soon as you step out, they're trying to like get past you to look in, like, oh, what is it? What's going on? Is it going to see it? And they're trying to like get in your way and stuff.
Hey, all of you, can I get your attention? I really need you to back up and get the heck out of here. We're trying to get a lot of stuff done here, and we need you to disperse and get back to your houses, get back to your activities. It's going to happen tomorrow. Day of Wonder is going to be an awesome event, but we really need you guys to let us do our work.
There's like some grumblings from the crowd, like they want to look, and you know you're being reasonable. Make a persuasion check for me.
Okay. Oh, that is a 9, not a 6.
Have I returned by this point?
We'll say that this is going on because Margaret stepped out, Dawn stepped out straight away, and then you guys did separate stuff. So you're still talking to the dwarfins, and then maybe you'll come in at the end of this. Like you can come in at the very end as Dawn is trying to convince them.
13.
13. So you do like, you know, maybe a third of them kind of are like, okay. And then they start dispersing and getting off. But you see that there is a group of, they look like laborers or like carpenters and things like that, smiths. And they're like, oh, come on. We just want to get a look at what's going to be on display tomorrow. Come on, just give us a little peek.
No, you can see it tomorrow. You get here early, you'll get to see the whole thing on display.
Come on, you don't understand. All the nobles, they line up, they get all the best positions. Folks like us, we don't get to get a proper look in. Come on, just a little peek. Go on, a little tiny little glimpse.
Well, if you know, how about tomorrow you come find me and I get you a glimpse then.
They're kind of like grumbling around. Nina, you come in at the sort of like the trail end of that conversation, right? You overhear this kind of the nobles are going to get all the good seats, and Dawn's like, maybe if you come back tomorrow, I can try and help you out and stuff. Do you want to do or say anything else, Dawn?
Well, as I walk by, before she does that though, as I walk by, I'm going to kind of reach up and pat her on the back, like, you got this. You're doing a good job. And as I do that, this little like illusionary like fairy starts kind of swirling about you as you get a little bit of bardic inspiration.
And then I'm like,
nice. So yeah, if you've got that bardic inspiration, if you want to do another persuasion check for me, and then you can use the bardic inspiration from Nina this time.
And your bardic, if you're using for an ability check, your inspiration dice has advantage.
Oh,
cool.
Very cool.
10 and then a nat 1. And then is it a D4 for the inspiration?
The inspiration is a D8, so you get to roll that one. That's the one you roll with advantage to see.
You roll it.
That one. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was a 10 first, and then the D8 was an advantage. Well, there's a 6 and a 1. So 6 and 10, 16. And its 16. Persuasion is 20.
20. Perfect. So I think that this guy kind of looks you up and down. He looks like a smith, and he's like, all right, stranger, I'll hold you to that. And he kind of like points at you, and he's like, all right, come on, let's get back to work. Let's go make our wage. And like all the rest of them, the rest of the kind of gathered crowd all kind of like follow. Seems to be like maybe like a kind of like union leader or a guild leader or something like that. And they all kind of take off in pursuit. And yeah, you've cleared out this kind of crowd. Elixir, Sparkle, and Bethry, was there anything you guys wanted to do inside while the crowd's being dispersed by the others?
Okay. The way I see it is these Gandhis here, they got it all. They're already doing all the work. They're building the thing. They know what's going on. So we just got to like cheerlead them and be like the project managers and just make sure everyone feels good about toiling away on the thing and don't break your butt or like whatever, you know, and everyone will feel good. We'll give them a little bit of a soundtrack. And then Easy Street all the way to the finish line. What do you think?
Yeah, they might need help with something too.
I mean, sure, they may need help, I guess, but they can ask us if they need help. If not, we can just provide a calming wave of musical encouragement.
Sparkle's already walking around asking if anyone needs help.
That's what I was gonna. I was just gonna walk away and go talk to the wizard.
Okay, so Elixir, you're gonna go speak to the dirty looking wizard. Sparkle, did you have one in particular that you wanted to go and speak to? You've got the silver dragonborn lady or the dwarf for the other two.
Whoever looks like they need the most help.
Okay. That probably, I think the one who looks the most nervous is the or not, maybe not nervous, but they're having the hardest time is the dwarf. They're kind of like grunting and struggling. You can kind of hear them muttering under their breath as they're trying to fix one of the little keg robots keeps like leaking beer everywhere, and they're trying to fix it, and they're kind of muttering to themselves. Bethry, while they go off to do
help with the leaking beer.
Yeah, okay. So like Bethry's like, that one. I'm gonna help with
I'm like, no, I'm very helpful. I'll just come over and pull out an empty flask and just start gathering up the leaking beer. And I'm like, I think we got to unhinge this. Maybe empty the whole thing in here first, and then we can refill it.
Ignore him. Do you need any actual help?
Well, I mean, actually, do you know what? He's not entirely wrong. It would be useful to drain. It'll be useful to drain keg 3, and then I can maybe get inside and have a look at it there. Sorry, who are you people? And what are you supposed to be in here?
So as everyone's introducing themselves, I'll provide a small soundtrack. So I'll just pull out this little fiddle, and as each person announces their name, I'll just give them a little bit of the Waterdeep equivalent of Muzak, like just sort of behind the
Sure. The dwarf kind of seems kind of amused by this little musical introductions. Generally seems to kind of warm up a little bit when you do so. It's like, well, I'm Bagra Brassborn. I'm one of the acolytes here. Did you, you there, Mr. Music? Bring your mug. Come on, bring your mug over here. And she kind of.
Oh, I got him. I'm gonna pull out like 3 mugs.
Perfect. And yeah, there's like a little spigot which is on the front of the little dwarf robot's belly, and she begins pouring out this very dark ambered beer into all of them. And then when it's drained, she turns to Sparkle. Now, you, my dear, I don't know. This may be a little bit. It may get your. I don't want you to get your nice outfit all wet, but if you can just help me lift off his head, I can get inside and adjust the leaking the insulation.
I try my best. She'll grab the head.
Yeah, it's not too hard. And Bethry, you now have 3 mugs of delicious dwarven beer. And yeah, she seems to manage to get in and start fiddling with it. And it's just like, I think that's done it. Did you say that you were sent here by that Harvon fella? Did I overhear that correctly?
Indeed.
Yeah, and Seg Morrison. He told us to, yeah.
Seg Morrison is he's a faithful devotee of Gond, a very fine fellow, but that Harvon, I'm sorry that he's a bit of a, well, he's just a bit of a show off, really. I'm not too keen on the man, but he seems to have at least brought in some reliable help, at least. It seems that he's good for more than just throwing his gold around.
So, but both of them are gone now. they're both gone. They're both gone anyways.
I see. You're saying that they're left, that they've gone.
I'm going to use a dancing light. I'm going to use a dancing light to just smack him in the back of the head.
It's like bonk. Indeed. Well, I thank you for your help. Number 3 was getting a bit leaky, and I want them in top performance tomorrow. I really think these things are going to change the tavern game here in Waterdeep. Imagine you don't have to have your tavern staff berated and constantly being belittled. You can have these little fellas wandering around serving drinks, and it should be much more cost effective. So thank you very much for your assistance. Are you going to be watching over the place tonight then?
Yeah, we won't be gone. We'll be right here. We'll be the whole time. Yep.
That's, if you keep repeating a joke, I'm told that it's funnier the second time.
Yeah. It's gonna dead cat bounce any moment now. It's gonna be great.
Perfect.
A little light just bouncing off his head.
Bagra doesn't seem to once you've helped Bagra, they kind of sort of say thank you. They begin packing up their stuff, and they begin making money. Meanwhile, Elixir, you head on over to the eccentric looking wizard, and when you approach, he doesn't seem to pay you any attention. You can just see kind of, oh, yes, what if I, yes, maybe if it does this. And then he seems to like startle as you approach. It's like, who are you? What are you here for?
My name's Alexia. We're here to protect this place. What are you working on?
Oh, you wish to know about my device that I've built. My first foray into magical enchantments, my dear. Yes, I used to be a famous wizard, you know, but now I've decided to focus my efforts more into these creational things, much more profitable than being a wizard, you see. Yes.
May I ask your name?
Yes. I'm known as Zim Zam Zambo.
Noted.
You may also have heard of Zim Zim Zimbadaloo. That's also me.
Yes.
Anyway, let me introduce you to this. I call it the Reliable Relievement Robot. It is a chamber pot, but it cleans itself, and it can spray water up your, and it can also move around if you need it to. Very useful thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
You're impressed. Stunned to silence, I see.
Yes, that's exactly what that is. Everything going okay? Is it working all right?
Oh, yes. It's a little bit aggressive with the water cleaning on your behind, but I think I can adjust the pressure on that. I think that we can turn that down a little bit. Test firings have had me launched up in the air, but
You need someone to test it out?
if you're volunteering, my dear, certainly, but I'm going to be held responsible for what happens.
No, I think I have just the person, and then I call Beth3 over.
All right, I'm just I've got this, I'm drinking beer and I'm just like, working hard.
Oh, perfect. Yes, he is in desperate need of some relievement.
Yes.
My good man.
Yes. What, have we met? Do I owe you money?
Probably. But anyway, would you mind just, if you wouldn't mind, sir, just dropping trousers and sitting on my throne here?
That's a very expensive proposition.
No, it will be, I promise you, it will be well worth it.
Publicly. I mean,
we can turn away if you prefer.
So what exactly are we doing
things.
here? Because I'm a little bit confused, and
You heard me.
I would
You
need
heard
at
me,
least
sir.
twice as many of these in order to perform such a function.
Well, all right. You don't have to drop the trousers. Just sit down.
Just a chair.
It's just a chair. Nothing could go wrong with a chair.
Let's roll back to the trouser part, because I'm a little curious why that was a requirement and it is no longer a requirement.
Well, this is my reliable relievement robot. It is an automated chamber pot, sir.
Automated?
Yes.
So is it going to go get it? How does that
Cleans
work?
you.
Oh my goodness.
It takes itself out.
Yeah, all right. So I'll just sit.
You sit down. He kind of like puts you in. He's like, yes, good.
Suddenly
good
it just makes sense to me. I'm like, yeah, it sounds reasonable.
This lever, and he gestures to like one of these rods at the side of the chair.
Okay. Is there any sort of like magical process? Do I have to hum a tune or say a code word?
Oh no, it plays its own music.
Now hold on. I don't want to have to compete with this thing's musical accomplishments.
Well, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see, sir. Just pull the lever. Pull the lever
All
there.
right,
on
maybe
your
I
left.
can recommend a melody and I'll just pop the lever there.
Sure. Make a dex saving throw for me, Beth.
Oh baby. Good news. I got good decks, so it ain't all bad.
Woo-woo.
19, believe it or not.
19. You managed to just like, you feel the water pressure on your butt,
Whoop.
and you manage to go like, whoa, and throw yourself out in time before a geezer nearly shoots you up into the air. And there is a little kind of like dun, 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 tune that plays when it does it.
That's the moment I come back into the temple, and
So I think
there's
that's
just
the moment
water
when
shooting
everybody comes back into the temple,
Yeah,
as
and-
you all
and-
see
and-
Bethry nearly launched into the air by this toilet, this
with this all
bidet.
and the beer spilling all over, and I just go, oh my, what the heck is going on here?
We're cleaning the skylight.
Okay, well then where's the beer for me?
So I'm just sort of looking around and I go, it's meant to do that?
No, it definitely does need the pressure taking down. And he looks at Elixir, who's just like, yes, I think I better work on this a bit more, my dear. But thank you for volunteering your friend. It was a very useful test.
Yes.
Maybe a lower octave on the music.
Oh, thank you, sir. Very good suggestion.
No
Lower
problem.
octave on the music. Right, very good. I hope I don't get the two confused.
Nice.
With that, unless there is anything you guys want to do, there doesn't really, the rest of the tasks all seem to be taken care of. Either Segmore kind of takes care of them, or the other kind of like, eventually the other kind of workers, the other acolytes will bid farewell as night does begin to fall on Waterdeep. But if there is anything else you guys would like to do, speak now.
Told you the Gandhis would take care of it.
Talisman?
I just park myself near the entrance to the Acolyte's residence. Just get cozy, pull the bedroll out, and just
Sure.
get ready to listen out for anyone. One entrance is sorted. Keep an eye on the other one.
Keep an eye on this one. Okay. What about anybody else? Anybody else got any things they would like to do? So, you know, the evening is starting to come down now. All of the workers of the temple go back to their own quarters, which are here in the temple. So all of the Dragonborn lady, the dwarf, the strange wizard, all make their way back into the back rooms of the temple. Segmore comes in and gives you kind of yes, this will have to do. No decorations, but honestly, I'd rather we just have everything else sorted. That's the most important thing. We got rid of the crowd. Everything's been fixed. Yes, everything should proceed as expected for tomorrow. So just make yourselves comfortable here in the main room, I suppose. I don't imagine we'll have any trouble, but if there is, you're here to assist with it. Yes, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got
Is
it
there-
covered.
Is there a crypt? Is there like any like
There's
basement or
not
anything?
here. So
Okay.
if you ask Segmore, he's like, no, my dear. We are a temple in worship to God of creation and invention. We don't really do funerary rites. That's you have the large graveyard here in Waterdeep to handle those sort of matters. Think of it as, I guess some may call it more of a museum rather than a temple. It's a place of learning, but also a place to show off the wonders that have been created here in the city. So that's it, really. Well, I hope you all enjoy your night at the museum, if we're going to call it that. And he'll kind of just smile and just say, if there's nothing else, then I will head back to my own quarters. And I'm sure that everything will be fine. I will see you in the morning for the Day of Wonder. Goodbye. And he kind of
Sleep well.
robes.
So
kind of
I'm
pulling off.
pulling my pack off. And because I do this all the time, I've got a particular way I put it on the ground that makes like a little, it's almost like this beanbaggy kind of setup that I could just lean into it. And then
Yeah.
I just tip my hat down and I go, now that was a hard day's work.
Okay, so we've got Bethry sound asleep before even a conversation about who wants to take watch can take place. But yeah, so the rest of you guys, is there like any plan here? Do you guys want to do anything specific as Bethry snores away in the background?
Well, I know that I'll be curious in the religion that they, because I am curious about other cultures. So if there's
Sure.
anything that any books or anything around or anything, even if
Sure.
it's not the things on display that kind of show what they're about.
Yeah, I think that you can definitely learn a little bit about Gond here. The Gond has a few other titles called the Wonderbringer, the Inspiration Divine, the Maker of all things. Gond is the god of artifice, craft, construction. So a lot of like blacksmiths and artificers and creators kind of worship them. It tends to it's definitely more of a sort of place of learning than it is necessarily of worship.
Right.
Even in this,
functional.
it's very functional. It's more about kind of the acolytes of Gond. It's less about serving their god and more about serving people with the knowledge that their god inspires in them, is the kind of mentality for it and things like that. There's workshops here. So like, rather than having like, prayer rooms, they're all workshops, because that is what they see as prayer to Gond, is actually building and creating things and stuff like that.
Cool.
That's kind of the main gist about Gond that you can pick up from looking around and stuff like that.
And then I settled down where I could see the best vantage point. If it's get to know my party. But I have a scimitar that I kind of just lay on my lap, and then, you know, my bedroll and a pillow, but I'm just sitting there just making sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not falling asleep yet.
Perfect. Cool. Anything from anyone else?
That would be
Perfect.
unprofessional if you've got.
Well, yeah, since we haven't picked who's gonna, you know, stay up.
Take watch or anything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Nina's gonna go over to Talisman and like, so did you see anything for security risks?
Just the skylight up top, but I've done a number on it. Shouldn't be much trouble. I was thinking I might. Would you mind holding? And I'll pull out a little bell and a piece of string.
I pull out a bell and a piece of string as well.
Wonderful. Great minds think alike. Hold here, and I'm going to jury rig a trap, a little bell trap, a little piece of string that runs, and if the door opens, then the bell will ring and we'll get woken up.
Yeah, sure. Give me a just make like a roll for like using thieves tools effectively. So like Dex plus proficiency bonus. Let's see how good a trap you can rig up. Or it's less like the failing of the trap and more like somebody spotting it, right? So this will be like the DC to spot it. And then Nina, did you want to try and?
Yep, I'm going to inspire him if I can.
Oh, okay, nice. Inspire her. Yeah. So do you create the same moat, like the same little kind of fairy?
Yeah, it always looks like a little fairy swimming around until like they decide what type of inspiration it will be, and then the fairy changes.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. So you have bardic inspiration on this talisman.
D8.
D8. And since it's an ability check, you get to roll the D8 twice and take the higher.
Perfect.
Okay. Hey, that's pretty good. It's a 12 plus Dex is 4 plus proficiency is 3, so 19 plus that's 2 plus 4. So whatever that is, 23, something like that.
23. Okay, perfect. I will make a note of that you have set up this little trap. 23 alarm trap, we'll call it. And that's on the door leading to the where the acolytes, the acolytes room.
That was the only other entrance that we kind of saw.
And then that was the only one you think would be used, right? Like, and then you had caltrops on the roof as well. Perfect.
Oh yeah, I'm home aloneing this place.
Yeah, I was going to say, you are full home alone. I love it.
And I am going to go out and just check with Oliver and company to make sure that they're doing okay. And see if they need anything.
Yeah, you see, you kind of poke your head out the door or look through a window, and you can see that there are, the windows are all locked on the inside, but you can see, these dwarven little urchins with their dark vision just kind of keeping a watch over the place, and they seem to be kind of like patrolling around. They're still pretending to be begging, so they're kind of being ignored by most people, but you can see they're kind of glancing around, but you don't see any signs. There's no ball bearings or anything like that to alarm you that anybody is oncoming. Elixir and Sparkle, what about you guys?
I'd probably be set up somewhere near the big invention in the middle, probably with eyes on the front door.
Okay, yeah, so like right in the middle next to the big tarp of Harvon's strange device, looking at the main door, kind of keeping your eyes on that one. Okay.
Does the tarp go all the way to the floor?
Yes, it's kind of got like big stone blocks that pin the tarp down. So you could move the stones and try and sneak under and like see what's under there if you wanted to. I'm
not strong enough for that.
Okay, yeah. So you kind of look at it, you think about it, and then you're like, nah, it's too much hard labor to move those things around. What about Sparkle?
Sparkle will take first watch and play a tune for everyone to fall asleep to. And put a little performance on for the little dwarven robots because they look nice.
Yeah. They're just kind of like sat there. 4 of them are just sort of like not doing anything, kind of just like almost like they're sleeping. Their little metal eyes are closed. They've kind of sunken down into the ground. They look more like barrels with eyes at this point. Their little arms and stuff have like tucked inside their body. And you're kind of just watching them all. Okay.
Were they refilled?
Yes, they would have been refilled before Bagra went. They would have been refilled. So as you guys are all kind of keeping watch, you've taken these precautions. A few hours go past. We'll probably say, 4 or 5 hours into the long rest. Mm-hmm. Then something happens. The alarms don't go off. The alarms that Talisman set didn't go off. You don't hear the ball bearings. But at some point, probably Cassidy, you're just kind of, Sparkle's just kind of switching over for somebody else to kind of keep an eye out, maybe to Nina or to Dawn. And it's at that point when a couple of you are awake. Bethry is just snoring out cold. But the rest of you kind of keeping it on the job. The large crystal with the metal frame around it that didn't have anybody working on it. There is a pulse. You kind of hear this, and this energy pulse seems to through the temple. Your clothes almost seem to like jutter for a moment, or like objects on you seem to kind of have a moment where there's a semblance of life and then they die down. And you see that the crystal is glowing bright green. And then you see the 4 dwarven little robots open their eyes, and their eyes are glowing bright green, and their arms like and they kind of like extend. The 2 birds that the other lady was working on, their eyes go green and they turn around. And the automated bidet, its little rods become legs. And these things, some of the dwarf robots look to you guys, some of them look to the top in the middle, and we are going to roll initiative as these guys are coming at you with
I'll roll
a
initiative
murderous
with
intent.
disadvantage. How about that?
Well, I think you can roll it with disadvantage, and maybe you'll be out for your first round of combat there, Bethry. So, Sparkle. So Bethry, we got in fact, I can get the game log here on D&D Beyond.
I rolled twice, and
so you took the 17, yeah? You still did good, but you're going to be out cold for your first one.
No problem.
So let's see. What have we got initiative-wise for Sparkle?
I used my reroll to get a 14.
Okay, 14. Nice. An excellent use of reroll, thanks to an anonymous donation as well. Thank you very much. Dawn.
13.
13 for Dawn. Elixir.
15.
15. Talisman.
19.
19. And Nina.
11.
11. Perfect. Well, so you see these things beginning to lurch to life. The temple is very large. We're going to kind of do this theater of the mind. There's no map. It's a very large temple. There are columns that set down it, but pretty much where you guys were positioned, where the inventions are positioned, everything is at least like it's 30 to 60 feet away, right? So the furthest away stuff, the birds, the bidet is all 60 feet. The robots are about 30 feet away from you guys and the top. 2 of the dwarven robots are immediately going to stomp their way towards the top, and they start trying to pull it away. And you can see their little hands like they're trying to rip through it as if they're trying to get to what's underneath. The other 2 are going to begin making their way towards the group of you, as are all the other constructs. But it is Talisman, probably the most alert, the most on edge, who is going to go first. So we have Talisman, and then we have Bethry, and then Elixir, and then we'll jump down as we get further down initiative. So have a think about what you guys want to do. Talisman.
All right. Well, this looks incredibly horrible. Not as bad as that business with the Cyclops. I will take a second and size up the spider toilet, and I will use bonus action Insightful Fighting to...
Okay.
Cool. So I'm going to roll insight against deception.
You can absolutely roll insight against a walking bidet.
So 17 plus 8, 25.
And I have to make a deception check, don't I? With my charisma of 1. Oh, look, I failed. Yeah, this thing is pretty single-minded. You dial in with your Sherlock Holmes-esque kind of like slow-mo time of like walks on 5 legs. Yes, can spray water at an alarming rate. Doing all the mental calculations, and then you hone in on this thing.
Wonderful. I get sneak attack, and I'm going to try and pop it with the crossbow.
Okay, yeah, so you pull out your crossbow and take a shot at this walking toilet.
Sounds like fun. Say 12.
12 to hit?
Yeah.
With a... Oh, yes, because... And was that with your advantage for insightful fighting?
It's not insightful. It just gives you sneak attack.
Oh, it just gives you sneak attack. Well, I will say that is going to be a miss, but you do have a re-roll. Thank you to Anonymous. Gave one to Bethry and Talisman.
I will use that right now.
Okay.
Much better. It's 15 plus 7. So
that is going to be a hit. So there's a moment where the crossbow's aim is going to go wide, and then there is almost like something that kind of like just causes you to maybe say like, I'm just going to aim a little bit here, and the bolt flies through, and you hear it crack against porcelain as the attack hits.
That anonymous donation was an important toilet attack.
Yeah.
There we go.
That toilet's got to go. It's a dangerous
Attack the
machine.
toilet.
When you gotta
Cool.
go, you gotta go.
Go.
When you got a gond, you got a gond.
That's 6 on the crossbow and sneak attack for another, all fours, another 12. So 18. Total.
18 points of damage total. There is an ear-shattering kind of crack as pieces of porcelain and ceramic come away from the metal, from the outside of this metal device, that now is more horrifying as like the kind of, daintily kind of throne-like structure has fallen away, and you now just see this horrible gears and construct inside kind of making its way towards you.
Does anyone know a good plumber? And I will just step back away from everything that I can.
Getting some distance from as much as you can away from everything. Perfect. All right. Bethry, you are asleep, but you do hear like a loud cracking of ceramic and some sort of
look up and
something
I
is happening.
see the scary bidet.
Coming to you, towards you as well.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at it and I go, no, that was a one-time only deal, okay? And then we'll do I'll pick up next turn and
okay. Yeah, so you just have this horrifying thing because now it's like broken away, all these gears are like almost like chomping teeth coming towards you as this thing desperately rushes towards you. Elixir, you are next then.
Yeah. Can I go up to one of the dwarves that are pulling like on the tarp? And I would like to cast Shocking Grasp on one of them.
Absolutely, you can. And they are made of metal, so you will have advantage on the attack roll.
Okay. That's good. It's a 14 to hit.
14 just hits. That's going to be their AC. So you reach out and lightning kind of crackling down your arm. You grab one of them and you send this lightning surging through them. How much damage are we talking here?
Be 2d8, so it's going to be 5 points of lightning damage.
5 points of lightning damage. The shocking grasp kind of like ripples through the little robot, who kind of jutters and probably makes like an R2D2 wow noise as you send the lightning through it. But still standing, and you can see that they don't seem to be deterred from what they're trying to do. Like, he's still trying to pull at this tarp, and you can see that he's now ripped, probably on his turn, he's going to start ripping a hole to get to what's behind it. Anything else on your turn, Elixir? So you've moved up, you've cast Shocking Grasp. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, in that case, we go to Sparkle and then Dawn, and then some of the monsters are going to go. Then it's going to be Nina. So Sparkle, Dawn, and then Nina. So get ready.
There are 4 of the robot dwarves, correct?
There are 4 robot dwarves. 2 of them are going towards the machine in the middle. 2 of them are coming towards the group of you, so it looks like they're going to come attack. Then there are the 2 birds at the back, and then the animated toilet.
Okay. Is it safe to say that the dwarves watched me perform for more than 1 minute?
Yeah, they probably watched perform for a little bit, yeah.
Because I have enthralling performance.
Okay. So what does this do? Read this out for me.
Okay. If you perform it for at least 1 minute, you can attempt to inspire wonder in your audience. At the end of the performance, choose a number of humanoids within 60 feet who watch to listen to it, and you charm them.
Okay.
If they succeed.
So I'm going to say there's
If they don't
two things, and because I don't want you to waste your turn, you would know this. Because they are constructs, they cannot be charmed. These little robots. Unfortunately, your dulcet tones and music has no sway over these
charmless robots.
Charmless robots.
That is the only thing I had prepared. So I will cast Cloud with Daggers.
Okay, so we go from charming the robots to murder time.
Yeah, pretty
Perfect.
much.
So what do I need to do?
You don't want to
daggers?
listen to my music, you die.
Is this a saving throw for me?
Okay, let me see. I think it's an attack. 1 sec. I didn't have
That's
it.
okay.
It just says when it enters for the first time or when it starts its turn there, it takes damage.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, in that case, roll damage for me, and they take that damage as they enter the area for the first time.
It's 4d4.
We can check that, but 44. Perfect.
7, 8.
And is this going to be on the 2 kind of coming towards you, right? Like there are 2 coming to engage you guys. Do you want it to be on those 2? Okay, so 8 points.
Yes, and anything that enters or ends its turn in the 5-foot Fun.
And that counts for you guys as well. So if any of your allies move up next to these things, they're going to be in the cloud of daggers too. Okay. All right. Well, Sparkle. Anything else on your turn, Sparkle? Any bonus actions or?
I will inspire Nina.
Okay, Nina, you have a bardic inspiration. Perfect. We go to Dawn then. You are up next, Dawn. So you can see all these threats coming in onto this party. What would you like to do?
Okay, I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon
Okay.
at the bidet, actually.
Okay, as it's making its way to Bethry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Is it going to be a plunger?
Yeah, actually, I think that would be a really effective tool in this. That it's going to attack the toilet. So yeah,
Okay.
let's go with a plunger scimitar.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah,
a
so it's
curved
gonna-
plunger. I love it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, so spiritual weapon. Give me the attack roll for spiritual weapon then.
Okay. Oh, nat 1.
No. Now you do have a reroll, Dawn. Somebody just donated an anonymous donation, so you have a reroll if you'd like to use that.
you.
That's okay.
Absolutely.
I have 3 of them, which I'm going to use very shortly. So
So 16 plus what do I have?
I apparently have a disadvantage as well. So
Oh, 22. Thank you for the
22
reroll.
definitely hits. 22 definitely hits as this spiritual plunger comes smashing down on the animated toilet.
Okay. Now I
So
gotta
give me
go
that
back.
damage.
Just a second.
That's okay.
It was
No rush.
Okay, I just clicked off of it. Where's my spiritual weapon?
It's okay. If you cast it at its second level, I believe it's 1d8 plus
Okay.
your modifier, your wisdom modifier.
Okay. 8 plus 3, 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage.
And
So
I'll click it
the spiritual plunger scimitar comes smashing down, breaking away the rest of the ceramics,
is.
just revealing this horrific spider of like clockwork cogs and gears and like a metal pot in the middle of it, basically.
God, it's worse now.
Yeah, it looks way scarier, but it is now, you can see it beginning to kind of twitch and glitch as it's trying to move towards Bethry as it does so. Anything else? That was only a bonus action on your turn, because I think spiritual weapon is a bonus action to cast.
Yes. Yeah.
So
and
action and move. What would you like to do?
Yeah, actually, I think I'm going to move closer to. Well, what is the toilet the closest thing to me?
The closest thing to you are the two dwarf keg robots that Sparkle covered with her cloud of daggers. Then there are 2 more who are trying to get into the tarp that Alexia rushed up to. Those are the closest targets.
Okay, let's go to the one with Alexia.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so you're going back up Alexia. Perfect.
Yeah. And then I can take my scimitar to it.
You
Right.
can. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a bonus action for spiritual weapon, and then it's an action to attack.
To attack. Yeah. Okay. So we get, I'm sure 12 plus.
That is going to hit. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
12 plus. Gosh, when you get online and play this,
It's very different to playing it at home, right? Like
Yeah.
suddenly there's a pressure of like,
my gosh,
I gotta add up numbers.
How do I do this thing? Plus 7 right here. It's
Yep.
So
So 19 easily hits the little dwarf robot. No problem.
Okay, 1d6 plus 4. 1 plus 4 is 5.
It's 5 points of damage. Hey, it
Yeah.
all adds up. So you kind of
Yep.
strike down, the scimitar kind of clangs against metal, dong, but you definitely feel it do something. And now Elixir is not on her own, which is very good.
That was
Yeah. So if that's you done, Dawn, the 2 birds at the far end of the room are going to rush forward, and they're going to take, one is going to rush towards Sparkle, and one's going to rush towards Talisman. So against Talisman, I do believe I have a disadvantage, so I'm going to roll this one on the first attack against Talisman. with my disadvantage. I am using physical dice because it's just a bit easier. It's only a 10 to hit you, Talisman, with that disadvantage roll. But then the second attack with its beak, it tries to like peck you down. That is only going to be a 9 to hit you. So both of these attacks, you manage to kind of like fend off and dodge out of the way, your little halfling form. As it's pecking, you can hear all these imitated voices of like things it's overheard, just like, Mom, I want to go to the gift shop. And stuff like that it's obviously heard during the day. And then Sparkle, one tries to peck you, but this one is going to attack twice as well. Man, my dice rolls are awful. I'm not going to use a reroll just yet. I'm saving that to attack Jim. So the first attack misses with a 7. The next attack is only an 11 to hit you, Sparkle.
It's not.
So you managed to fend this other bird. It's kind of like flapping its metal wings in the air, trying to peck down at you, but to no avail, as both of them seem to be ineffective at doing so. Nina, what would you like to do?
Yes. So are the birds still relatively close to each other, or are they?
They've kind of splitted. They've split out now. I mean, all of you guys are within 30 feet of each other, so you're kind of keeping within a close distance to each other. And now those birds have entered into that area too.
So as my interaction, I'm going to reach into my diaper bag of holding, and I'm going to pull out a net.
Okay.
And I'm going to hold on to that in case the birds get close to each other. I'm going to look over towards the 2 metal dwarves that are trying to get into under the tarp, and we go, no, we are protecting that. And I'm going to cast Shatter in a place that's only going to hit the 2 dwarves, not the invention, and not my allies who are close by.
Okay, so you can separate it a little bit further out. Great. So read me out on Shatter. What do I need to do for Shatter?
Shatter, that is going to be a to do Constitution saving throw on your part. However, you have disadvantage because they are constructs.
They are constructs. Okay, so that is a 10 on the first one, which I believe is going to be a fail. And then, guys, I don't need disadvantage. Donate to give me rerolls, please, because that was another 2. That's a 4. I am going to reroll that saving throw. Another 2. Wonderful. Man, let me tell you, this doesn't happen in my streams, as my players will tell you. I normally roll very, very well. So both of these dwarves are going to take the full shatter damage.
I only rolled 9, so it's only 9 points of damage.
9 points of damage against the 2 that are closest to the top. Perfect. So the thunderous energy, and there is this loud boom. You do hear this kind of loud cacophonic kind of sound that erupts out. The dwarves kind of shake and shatter as you do so. Anything else on your turn, Nina?
Yeah, I'll look over towards Talisman, since I know Talisman can hit pretty hard, and just be like, we know you could do this well, so make sure you do it well. And the little inspirational fairy starts buzzing around your head.
Marvelous. Okay, well, what we'll do is we're going to finish out this combat round, then we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. But the little dwarven keg robots, the 2 that are closest to the top, seem to pay no attention to the figures who are attacking them, and instead they just continue to rip and tear. They managed to do so. They managed to get their hands in, and they kind of rip the tarp or pull the tarp away, revealing like a hole behind it. Dawn and Elixir, you guys are the closest to inside. You can see what appears to be a colossal metal. There is some large metal vehicle inside. You can see that there are wheels covered in some sort of kind of like rubberized material. There is like a metal plating. This huge metal vehicle seems to be inside. The dwarf robots barely managed to get the tarp over, and then they're going to walk away. So you both can make attacks of opportunity if you like, as they're going to step away from you and just start punching the vehicle with their little dwarven fists.
But if I've already cast spiritual weapon as a bonus,
that's a bonus, not a reaction. So your attack opportunity is a reaction.
Okay, I will.
Okay, yeah. So you both can make opportunity attacks. So it's just a melee weapon attack unless you've got
16 with a dagger.
Okay, the dagger hits. You kind of launch out, catch it quickly.
So yeah, 15.
Both of you hit. Okay, so we have 5 from Elixir. Boop. And then how much damage from Dawn?
9.
9 points from Dawn. You guys together, as it steps away from you, nearly managed to take down one of these little dwarf robots. But it does manage to keep itself together. And then, yeah, it just pounds on the side of the device with a little metal fist. And that is going to be a hit. And then the other one is also going to be a hit. You can see they dent the metal of this vehicle underneath the tarp. The other two are going to turn on the party. So they're going to start in your Cloud of Daggers, Sparkle. So give me some damage rolls for those guys as they move out of it. They're going to basically move through it towards yourself and probably Nina. In fact, actually, they're going to try and line up a bunch of you at once and do something. 12 points of damage to both of them. Nice. So as they move through the clouds of daggers, you can see pieces of their like little, bodies are being ripped apart and torn off as they step through it. They kind of move around and they're going to position themselves. One of them is going to come up to you, Sparkle, and try and it kind of just raises its little spigot and this liquid kind of sprays out over to you. The other one is going to try and position you, Nina, and Talisman all in like a line, and this just thick geyser of oil comes spraying out of it. So we'll do the attack against Sparkle first. That is going to be 7. I'm going to use one of my rerolls. That is going to be a 24 to finally hit you.
That will hit.
That will hit. So this is a D8 plus 3 acid damage. So that's going to be 7 points of acid damage as this kind of short, quick spray of acid comes over you. Then I need you, Talisman, and Nina to make dexterity saving throws, please.
I'm going to use my Bardic Inspiration.
Okay, great.
A natural 20 for 25.
Nice.
19 plus 7, 26.
Okay.
Man.
Very good.
I'm also going to use a reroll because
okay.
I didn't roll as well as I'd like. That's much better. 21 plus 27.
27. These
okay.
Capable party members.
All 3 of you managed to kind of throw yourselves to the side or just avoid. You do get splashed by some of the oil, and very quickly after it launches the spray of oil out, you see a flame kind of ignite it, and it just catches you with a little bit of fire damage. But you do manage to avoid slipping on the oil, and you avoid most of the damage itself. So that's going to be, it would normally be 8 points. You take 4 points of fire damage each because you saved, and you don't fall prone. You manage to kind of throw yourselves to the side as this little dwarf robot. And as it does, it's like, hey, have a drink on me. And then it sprays the oil out in a line in front of it. And then finally,
damage?
Sorry?
Fire damage?
It was fire damage. So Tiefling, you can half that to a 2 as well. So goes all the way down. And then finally, the turn I've really been waiting for, the animated toilet charges at Bethry, and it comes charging at you, Bethry. Its little spide legs, it comes rushing towards you, and it's going to attempt to ram you. Okay. And I will spend a reroll. I think that's my last one. That is going to be a 22 to hit.
That is a hit, and I'm just like, look, we shared a moment, and that was fine, but it was a one-time deal, okay? And
then it hits you. So that's going to be 4. That's going to be 12 points of bludgeoning damage, and I need you to make a strength saving throw, Bethry.
All right. How about a 7? I know that's
7.
That's a beauty right there.
So it charges into you, and its little kind of rod-like legs latch onto you, and it grapples you onto the chair itself. You are currently restrained as it kind of locks you in place onto itself.
Amazing.
So you are restrained. You can use an action to break out.
I'm basically on the bidet now. I have mounted the bidet. I have never felt cooler than this moment.
Absolutely. It's what D&D is all about, being attacked by an animated toilet.
Right?
With that is the end of the combat round. We're going to take
that's
a quick...
clearly a cliffhanger. That
is a cliffhanger, exactly. Just Bethry being locked onto an animated clockwork toilet.
Right.
We are going to take a 10-minute break just for people to grab a bathroom and grab a drink and stuff like that. We'll be back
I've
in a few
already
minutes.
grabbed the bathroom. What are you talking about? It's on me.
I was going to say, you haven't grabbed the bathroom. Bathroom grabbed you. Exactly. Exactly.
Is this like
we're gonna
Yoda
take-
D&D? Yoda grab bathroom, bathroom grab you.
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll be back in a few minutes. Don't forget, if you donate, you can give re-rolls and all of that kind of good stuff. And as we've hit some markers, the next part of the campaign, the next part of the adventure, if we get to it, we're gonna up the drama a little bit as we've been hitting some cool goals. And yeah, we'll get to it in the next bit. So see you in a second. We're gonna take a hot break. Hello, welcome back to Jasper's Game Day here on D&D Beyond. I'm Mark Hulmes, your Dungeon Master, joined by these wonderful players, and we are in the middle of a combat where Jim Zub is being attacked by an animated toilet. That's pretty much all you need to know.
Yeah, that's clearly the most important
thing.
Yeah.
To set the scene for people, just so that anybody new joining the thing, and also for us to kind of re-envision it. Inside the House of Inspired Hands, which is a temple to Gond, which is sort of like a kind of inventor's museum. There's all these different displays of various constructs and devices. They have come to life and are now attacking the party and the invention that they've been sent here to protect, some sort of mysterious large vehicle underneath a hidden tarp. And we are going to start at the top of the round with Talisman. The whole thing, you've got the keg robots. 2 of them are trying to break the device under the tarp. 2 of them are attacking your party members. There are these 2 mechanical birds which are flying around, a animated toilet which has locked Bethry in place. But you do see, Tasman, that the thing that started all of this, there's this crystal in a frame that seems to be glowing with a green energy as well. What would you like to do?
Still seems like it's a bit of trouble, and Talisman's a bit suspicious of it. So
okay.
I would
just
like
a
to
bit of trouble.
Bonus
Just a
action
bit.
hide. Actually,
Okay.
I've got that bird on me, right?
Yes, you do. Yes, it kind of flew up to attack you. So you could bonus action disengage.
No, I'll sit where I am. I'm going to use insightful fighting to get sneak attack on the crystal. So I'd like to make an I'm insight checking all of these inanimate objects.
Sure. Yeah. You know what? Go for it. Absolutely. Make an insight check on the inanimate crystal. I love it.
19 plus 8, 27.
Sure. Let me make a deception check for it. Oh, it failed. It is a crystal. So I would say, though, with the insight check, there's a couple of things you can glean. You look over to it. There's like a nameplate beneath the crystal of the creator, which is Uvagor Sil Honor. I will put that in our Roll20 chat. So it's not Roll20, our Zoom chat, so you can see the spelling on that. But there's like structural points. The frame is kind of like keeping the crystal in place, but there are like structural weak points. So we'll justify that as your sneak attack when looking around.
No problems. I'll Han Solo the hand crossbow and try and line it up. And
Nice. You'll raise your hand up if you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
exactly.
and take a shot at the crystal's frame, one of the corners of it.
Sure, go for it.
And don't forget, you have the inspiration dice, which does some cool stuff if you choose to use
Yes, you get that extra
yeah,
D8.
let's do that anyway because it sounds like a lot of fun. So it's 13 plus 6 on the dice, 19.
So because it came from
plus
Nina, you
7,
can roll that. Is it on attack
26.
rolls as
it.
well that they get the advantage?
So on the attack roll, what happens is as your bolt goes towards this frame, the little fairy follows along and then it detonates when it reaches the frame. And
Very cool.
everything has to
Whoa.
make, within a 5-foot range, has to make a Constitution saving throw against my DC, or they take the thunder damage equal to what you rolled on the Bardic dice.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
So
Hold
what
on
was the
tight,
attack?
buddy.
What's the attack roll total?
26.
That definitely hits. So roll your sneak attack damage and your normal attack damage for the crossbow bolt. I rolled I'd say probably a 10 on the Constitution save. I'd give it a +3, so that's going to be a fail.
Fail. Yep.
That's
He said he rolled 6.
14 sneak attack plus the 6 of whatever was on the
That was thunder damage, though, and it is vulnerable to thunder damage,
Yes.
which is going to be a 12 points of damage. So you watch as the frame, one corner of it completely breaks, and the thunder damage manages to break another corner. So the frame is only really being held together by these 2 elements now. It's very fragile. It looks like it could break at any second, but it's still just about held together. But you do notice that glow seems to become more of a pulse, and the robots seem to, like the constructs seem to become more erratic or slow down or speed up in time with that pulse. Definitely seems to be affecting them in some way, Talisman, that you notice.
Excellent. And I will use my full movement to get as close to that crystal as I can. Opportunity attacks be damned.
Okay, well, the little birdie will try and take a peck at you as an opportunity attack. It's a natural 1. Great.
Should have been a halfling.
Rerolls? Yeah, I wish that this crystal or this bird was a halfling. Anybody wants to give me a reroll in chat, please do. My dice are terrible today. It all goes to a good cause, though. It's all to a good cause. So
Our
after
destruction.
talisman, you
That's
make your way as close to it as possible. Nice, Megan. Thank you for donating a reroll to everybody but me. I love it. I love it. Bethry, we come to
Yes.
you. You are currently restrained by this.
Right.
You can use an action to try and break out, or you can do whatever else you like.
All right, so I've got a rope of climbing. So I'm going to basically pull it out and animate it and have it grab onto one of the dwarves or one of the other constructs and basically sort of pull me off of this thing or yank me away.
I think the perfect target for that is one of these mechanical birds because it's flying after
Yes.
Talisman. So like you, as it goes to try and chase Talisman, you kind of like
Perfect.
try
I'll
and
pull the-
Indiana Jones the rope
Yep,
onto
and
it.
and the rope just animates whoop, and then just
Yeah.
fires up into the air.
Perfect.
All
So
right.
like, is that like a deck save or something for me on the
What
rope?
would you like it to be? It's a
Oh,
pretty
in that
awkward
case,
one. In
let's
old
make
school
it a
D&D,
deck save.
yeah, we'd say it's like rope use or something, but nowadays
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, I will say it's
or-
a deck save for the bird. That's another 4 for me. So the rope manages to wrap around the mechanical bird's legs, and I would say that the force of it moving, I'll say it will make an attempt to break you free. And of course, now I roll a natural 20. For the bird breaking you free, I roll a natural 20. So you
All right.
watch as Bethry just and then is pulled up and out because it's flying up in the air. So you
Yeah.
are pulled about 10, 20 feet in the air of this bird chasing after Talisman out of the bidet's grasp.
And I'm giving the bidet a raspberry as I fly away. I'm just,
Yeah.
zoom.
And then whoosh, you fly off. If you have a bonus action, you may use a bonus action, but that's going to be your action to use the rope for sure.
Yeah, so no, I think that'll probably do it. I don't have a spell that's appropriate here. All
Okay.
my spells work on people, not constructs here. That's
Right.
my problem.
Perfect. Well, in that case, we go to Elixir.
Okay. Can I see them see Talisman attacking the frame?
I would say
with the
all of
crystal?
you can see that. Yeah,
Okay.
all of you see that happen.
So I would like to cast, since I have Spell Sniper, Eldritch Blast
Ooh.
at the frame.
Cool. Yeah, so you kind of turn around with like a cool, like, fire this beam of Eldritch Force. I love it.
Yeah, I have 2 of them.
Okay.
So the first one's a 24 to hit,
That will definitely hit. Yep.
and then the second one's a dirty 20.
Those both hit. So yeah, these 2 blasts of energy, and this is going to be force damage, right? Because it's Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's going to ignore all of its resistance.
Can I reroll? Can I use my rerolls to reroll the damage since I have 2?
I
Or
think
is it
it's
just the
for
rolls?
Elixir, as you graciously gave to charity to get a seat in this game, and somebody has graciously donated, I will say you absolutely can use the reroll on a
Okay,
damage roll
because I
if you
rolled
like.
2 20s, or 2 1s. I mean, so it's 7 total for both.
7 total. So you watch as another one of these corners does manage to, as the energy blast hits, leaving the crystal dangling. It's now kind of like bent inwards, and only one corner of this frame is keeping it connected. The rest of it is all kind of hanging loose. But yeah, you managed to kind of snipe that from the side. Is there anything else in your turn, Elixir?
That is it.
Okay, in that case, we go to Sparkle.
Okay, and there is a dwarf right in front of me, right?
Yes, there is a dwarf
Okay.
and a bird right next to you. They are both kind of like drawn to this brightly colored thing that was conjuring magic daggers.
I am going to pull from my back my little tan pouch a little fluffy ball
Okay.
and throw it at the dwarf. And it turns into a tiger.
So this is from your bag of tricks, right?
Of
So
tricks.
you summoned a tiger. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Let
And
me
for
just
my
get
bonus action,
that's for a tiger
Whoa.
up on D&D Beyond.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
I will use the tiger. I have the stats here.
Okay, perfect. If you've got the stats, even better. So yeah, you're gonna have the tiger attack the robot, right?
Yep, it has a bite.
While I'm swinging by the tiger, I'm like, I could do that. I just don't want to.
It also it got a natural 20 plus 5.
Okay. So the way I like to do crits, by the way, for my games, is I always do it as you do maximum damage on the dice, and then you roll the dice again. That works for me against you guys, though. So if I have an enemy who crits you guys, I do the same thing. Just because I don't like it when you crit and you roll less damage than you could have on a normal attack. I like to have it that crits hit big and hit, be cool. So whatever the damage for the tiger is, what's the normal damage?
1d10 plus 3.
So it'd be 13 plus another d10.
So 19.
So that's enough to the tiger just rips one of these dwarf robots apart. It just kind of pounces on it, and you just see bolts and cogs and wood come flying as the tiger just kind of pulls it apart as it does so. Fantastic. Okay. Anything else on your turn, Sparkle?
I think it has 2 attacks, but I don't know if it gets 2 attacks per turn. Or if those are
Yeah,
just
that would
the
be 2 attacks per
options.
turn. Yeah, multi-attack is
Okay,
2 attacks per
then-
attack action.
It will use its claw.
Okay, this would be against the bird, because that's the only other
Yep.
thing that you've got next to you. Yep.
Oh, okay. That one was a natural one.
So this time it kind of pounces up like a cat trying to catch a bird, but the bird, and it's probably actually, oh no, it wouldn't be the one on Bethry. It just tries to grab this bird who just flies up into the air and avoids it. Anything else, Sparkle?
That is all I got.
Okay, that's a very good turn regardless. Dawn, what would you like to do on your turn? Oh, I cannot hear you, Dawn. Don't know if you have muted on like your end.
Yep, there.
There we go.
Got it. Now here I am. Hi. Yeah, I would make sure the plunger, as Bethry comes by, as he's rushing by, it's going to hit him, but then it's going to start plunging.
Oh no!
Nice.
not him.
Right,
He's
the
getting
toilet.
tapped, but the toilet's going to
Yes.
get a serious
The bidet, the
plunge.
animated bidet.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. So spiritual weapon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, I have a reroll. That was a 3.
You do.
And that's a 5.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Randy kindly donated to give me disadvantage. Thank you, Randy. I definitely needed that.
So it would be 5 plus 6, so 11.
That is not enough. Even in its kind of broken state, now that all the ceramics pulled off, the metal parts are much harder for the spiritual weapon to really do damage to. But that's your bonus action. You still have an
Okay.
action and a move.
And how many people are within 30 feet of me?
So you currently have, I'd say, within 30 feet of you, you have all of the whole
Everybody?
team and all of
Okay.
the enemies as well. Or everybody's within like a 30-foot bubble around you guys. So
Okay,
it's kind of
then-
like you're all centered around this main invention in the middle of the temple.
Okay, so I grab my holy symbol, my maze around my neck, and then there's this aura of magic that just spews towards everybody, and I'm going to cast Crusader's Mantle.
Ooh.
And so everybody within a 30-foot radius, a friendly creature, so I don't know if that includes the tiger,
It will.
they get a 1d4 radiant damage when they hit with a weapon attack.
Cool. So everybody gets an extra D4 of radiant damage on their attacks. Nice. Excellent stuff. Cool.
Okay.
Good job, Dawn. Anything else on your turn, Dawn?
Let's see, am I going to move? No, I'm going to stay right there.
Okay, so the 2 mechanical birds are going to go. One is probably going to attack the tiger that has just been summoned. We'll do that one first. That is going to be... Oh, I have disadvantage on this. That is going to be a 17, even with disadvantage. Does that hit the tiger, Sparkle?
Does.
So that's going to take 7 points of piercing damage. Its second attack, that's going to be a miss. That's a 2. The one that is currently pulling Bethry flies towards Talisman, but then it feels this like tremendous weight on it. It would probably try and I would say I'm going to flavor its attack as trying to like drag Bethry through like these columns. It's going to try and smack you into the columns instead.
Yeah.
So it's going to try, it's kind of Luke Skywalkering you on the
Amazing.
back of the bikes and stuff.
Yep.
That's going to be so would a 15 hit you?
Me? Hold on one sec. Yes, exactly what you needed.
Okay. So
Just
you're going to take 4 points of damage as you're bashed into one column, and then its second attack is a natural 20. So that's going to be 4, 7,
Have you
10
do
more
it?
points of bludgeoning damage.
Yeah.
as
Do
this
you remember
one
that
sma-
Robin Hood Daffy? Remember where he swings and he smashes into the tree, and then he swings
Yep.
and then he smashes into the tree? Yeah, it's
Exactly
like
the
that.
same thing. Yep.
Just
So,
So
you
what's
kinda
the
get
grand
slammed
total?
around. So that was 14, I believe, because it was 10 and then 4.
Woo!
So you bonk and you kind of like
Yeah.
all bruised and broken as this bird's flying around trying to smash you into stuff. But then we go to Nina.
Yes. Is the oil still burning on the floor, or did that go out?
It is still burning, in fact. Yeah, there's this long line of like burning
Okay.
flamed oil.
Would it count as like campfire sized or bigger?
Yeah,
than
I'd say it's probably about campfire size. Yeah, each
I'm
individual
gonna-
section of it, like it's like a line of campfires.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna look at the construct and just say it's not good to play with fire indoors. I'm gonna snap my fingers and use prestidigitation to put out a section of it.
Yeah, so you kind of
And-
section of it kind of goes out like the first few feet of the line, woof, vanish.
And I look over to Bethry and I'm like, "Come on, you can do this. Wake up, get
I'm
going."
fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. There's
As
like
I
little,
inspire you.
yeah, birds floating over my head, proverbially speaking. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got
And,
this.
and so a little fairy comes off and kind of is soaring up by your shoulder, but also kind of going, "Come on, you've practiced these things," giving you like little words of encouragement, but
Great.
in the way that moms
Nice.
do.
The
Yeah.
best it would be, you've smashed your face in before and you got up last time. You've done this dozens of times. I think you get a concussion every day. This is no problem for you.
You've got this.
You're not
Love it.
bleeding.
Yeah, you're fine.
And I'm just going to take a few steps back away from the rest of the fire.
From the rest of the fire and the fight going on. Perfect.
Yep.
2 more of these little keg robots are still kind of like pounding away, trying to kind of make their way into the device. That one doesn't manage to get through the kind of armored exterior, but the next one does pound it, and something breaks, like something pops off of the machine underneath. You're not sure how valuable it is. It seems to like be a piece of metal that's kind of fractured away, but they're just kind of pounding on it. The other 2, one of whom has been destroyed. The other one, which it was going to make their way towards, let's see here. Beer shower. That sounds fun. Seeing Talisman kind of like attacking this crystal, one of them is going to turn to you, Talisman, and this 30-foot line of beer gets shot out of it from its like mouth. It kind of opens its mouth and this foamy spray comes out. I need you to make a
come on.
Constitution saving throw. Yeah, I know, Bethry, you would have been
What
perfect.
a waste.
And you are muted there, Nate, as well. Yeah.
Nailed it. First time. Con save.
Yes,
of, 13 flat.
Just beats it. So, you're a halfling. The beer goes in your mouth. You get soaked in it. But, I mean, and it's delicious. It's this delicious dwarven beer. And it definitely kind of, it definitely hits you, like so much of it going, in every eye, hole, ear, everything. But you manage to shake off the effects. You are not going to be poisoned or slowed or anything like that. You manage to just kind of shake your way out of it as this beer kind of goes flying over everything. With its main target disappearing, the bidet, the animated bidet, is going to turn towards the one who has caused it kind of some grief so far. Dawn, it's going to come skittering towards you to try and ram into you and try and grab you as well.
Okay.
So that's going to be an 18 to hit. I
Yep.
have disadvantage because of Randy. Thank you. That's not a 12. That's now a 9 to hit. As it kind of, and you manage to kind of bounce it away or knock it away with your weapon as it doesn't quite manage to hit.
It's kind of like a cat toy, and I
just bat it away at the side. Yeah, push it off the ledge. And then we go to Talisman at the top of the round.
Oh, so if I'm remembering this right, there's one kind of corner left on this frame around
There's
the,
just one left. Yeah.
Well, no time like the present, and I will try and smack the hell out of it with pull 2 daggers out of my little pockets inside my jacket and
Love it.
take the
Very
last thing
cool.
out. Okay, not a 1. Oh, 1 isn't a problem. That is an 18 plus 7, 26.
That is going to hit.
It's 25.
And you have insightful fighting up on a crystal. So
Yeah, and the radiance from the
and the radiant from
rotating
Dawn.
mantle. This is going to be huge. Okay, 16 plus 4, 20 points of damage, 4 of which is radiant.
4 of which are radiant. Just enough. The last cusp of it, that radiant energy from Dawn is just enough to break the last kind of like piece of this frame. The whole crystal comes tumbling down, and without being held together, you see that it splits apart, breaking apart. And as it does, the green glow around it fades. The green eyes of the dwarf robots, of the birds, dims and fades away, and they just begin to kind of return to kind of patient normality. The animated bidet suddenly just turns and it just makes its way back to its pedestal to sit down.
Mark,
The
can
birds,
I describe a particular? So think that I'm going to attack, and the bird's going to shut down. I've got my rope wrapped around it. I've just pulled out my rapier in this wicked heroic pose. I'm like, and now finally you shall taste the. And then the bird just shuts down, and I crash to the floor.
yeah, perfect. So it's like, as it like shuts down and just drifts down, you're like, whoa, and then you dum, 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 dum. You go rolling across the floor, slide across the marble stone, exactly. Come to a skidding halt. All the little dwarf robots, apart from the one that was torn apart by the tiger, just sort of like shut down. They turn back into little barrels and like they go to sleep, like their little eyes close as if they've just fallen asleep. And yeah, I think as well, because the giant shatter went off, maybe about, you can hear that there is some sort of commotion coming from where the acolytes sleep and things like that. But you guys have about a minute before they'll probably arrive fully, because D&D combat, like everything's happened in like 10, 12 seconds. So is there anything you guys wanted to do before anybody else arrives here? Like you guys, these things shut down. You don't know what's, triggered all of this. What's the plan?
I'll firstly walk up. Sorry, you go, Sparkle.
No, you can go ahead.
Cool. I'm going to walk over to Bethry's splayed body, pick up one of his tankards, and empty some of the beer that got sprayed onto me from my jacket in there.
Quality.
Nice.
Think you need that more than I do? All right.
Love it.
And then you walk away, and I'm like, I'm fine, by the way. I'm fine. Thanks. Thanks for checking. I appreciate it.
And I do cast Prayer of Healing for everybody with 6 creatures. So,
yep, that's going to be everybody.
Mm-hmm. So 9 plus 3, 12 points of healing.
Nice.
12 points. Okay, everybody gets 12 HP
Much
back.
needed.
Yeah, I felt sorry for you.
For Bethry getting
Yeah,
slammed around.
Yeah. Oh, poor guy. He always needs
Perfect.
healing.
So like while Dawn is chanting this prayer of healing, which I think takes like a minute or so. What about anybody
10
else?
minutes.
Anybody else wants to do anything? 10 minutes. Okay.
10 minutes.
I wanted to look at the hole that the dwarves made and look at the machine and see what's wrong with it.
Yeah, Elixir. So you look inside, and the hole that they tore was really just revealing a small part of this. But if you kind of like stick your head in and pull the tarp back a little bit, you can see that Harvon's device, this invention he's built, really the best way to describe it would be almost like a train carriage, like a train engine that runs on wheels rather than tracks, kind of like a hybrid of a bus and a train. You can see that there is some sort of complex magical engine that sits in the front, but then there looks to be like a space where, maybe 10 or 12 creatures could be sat in the behind the engine and the driver segment. There's almost like a big wheel, like a sailing ship's wheel that seems to be attached to the engine as well. The piece that came off of it to you, make a intelligence roll for me. Just roll a d20 plus intelligence.
It's gonna be a 4.
A 4. You look at this thing and you're like, that's a piece of metal. Maybe it's like some sort of armor, or maybe it's like you have no idea. What about anybody else? So Sparkle?
Yeah, Sparkle will try and cover the hole because we were paid to not look at the thing.
Okay. What do you want to try and cover it up with?
More tarp? I don't
So you're kind of trying to
mending.
fold the bottom of the tarp up and sort of like pin it in place or something.
I have mending. Can I mend the tarp?
Yes, I would say yeah. Like
I don't have mending.
as Sparkle is trying to like pull the tarp and cover it, maybe Elixir, that's when you realize like, oh, hang on. And then as Sparkle's kind of holding it closed, you're like magically stitching it back together so it kind of reseals back up. And yeah, you managed to do that. Okay. What about Nina?
Nina's gonna put out snap to put out all the fire and start kind of cleaning things up a little bit. I'm very happy that the tarp's being fixed.
Okay.
She's gonna go over to Bethry. How hurt is he still?
I'm stumbling. I mean, technically, I'm down by 14 hit points, but I'm just waving up like, no. This happens all the time. Where did that beer go?
Bethry, I'm sure it does. I'm gonna pat him on the shoulder. I'm gonna pull out like some herbs and stuff and kind of quickly make like a little tea to have him drink. And as I'm patting him on the shoulder, casting Cure Wounds.
Nice.
It's probably not on the shoulder. You're probably patting him on like the side of the leg.
Well,
right?
he said he was sitting down. So
oh, right. Yeah, he was sitting down. So you've kind of walked up. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So you get 9 points of healing.
Oh, man.
Look at that. Okay.
I
So when you
will
guys are all
have
kind
the
of.
tiger wrap around my legs so it's less threatening.
Yeah. So it's kind of like
So
sleeping
they don't
down.
just see so they
tiger.
don't just
Walking
come
around.
in and go, tiger.
Yeah. So there is you after about a minute or so, the doors open and a very panicked looking Segmore in a kind of long he's wearing like one of those nightgowns and the floppy hat, and he's got a little candle and he comes rushing in. You can see that the other acolytes, the dwarf, the dragonborn, and the strange wizard are all with him, all kind of dressed in like nightwear, but they're clutching like the dragonborn lady's got like a big hammer, the dwarf's got a pair of like blacksmiths like hammers, it looks like. The wizard has just got his fists like in a Queensby boxing style, and they all come bursting in like, oh! And Segmore's like, what is happening? What happened? We heard a loud noise. Is everything all right?
We have no idea that the crystal just did this pulsing thing and all the
The crystal? The animation station?
yeah. Yeah, and everything came to life, and they were attacking. The toilet started attacking us, and the birds.
And that's the bit where they look at their destroyed things. Luckily, the Dragonborn lady's birds weren't harmed, so she's kind of like checking them, but seems to be unharmed. But you see the dwarf is like holding the scraps of his broken rubber. He's like, oh, number 3. Oh, my precious baby. And she's like holding it and cradling the pieces together. The strange wizard man is like looking at his toilet. He's just like, well, it's definitely more terrifying than I remember it looking.
Yeah, and I've dispelled the plunger very subtly at this point in time, and it just kind of disappears.
Segmore, the little gnome, is just like, oh, well, that definitely shouldn't have happened. I mean, this thing was, the device was sent to us a few days ago by someone out of Baldur's Gate. It just seemed to be a small convenience. It would animate little objects, make them dance and play around. You saying it brought the other things to life? It took control of them?
Yes.
And what, they attacked you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they did. Who in Baldur's Gate was sending this?
Some strange name. Somebody who works for the House of Wonder. Uvagor Silhonor, I want to say. Strange name. Something odd.
Does
something
that
very
name
odd
sound
about
familiar
it.
Would I recognize that?
I would say
name at all?
anybody who wants to can make an intelligence check. So just DC plus your intelligence. Because of your inquisitive nature, Talisman, I would say that you can add your proficiency to this. I think this would be like an investigation for you.
Yeah, cool.
I think for most other people, this is going to be like just a raw intelligence check.
30-20.
Oh, my 0 intelligence.
So we have a 15 for Elixir.
Oh, a whole 9 for Dawn.
9 for Dawn. It kind of makes sense.
17.
For me.
Sorry, what was that? Sparkle?
12. Oh,
12
sorry.
for Bethry. No, that's okay. 12 for Bethry. Sparkle.
Oh, Bethry, don't forget to
17.
have your inspiration. That's going to go.
17. You have an inspiration, Bethry, if you want to use it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'll use that. So I
Okay.
get an extra, what, D6 you said?
D8, and you can roll
D8.
it twice and take the higher because it's an
D8.
ability check.
Perfect.
All right. Oh, hold on. What am I doing? D8. And first one was a 3. Second one is a 1.
A 1, so you get another
So
3.
take
So
the
that's
3.
15.
Yeah.
15 total. And then what do we get Talisman and Nina if you guys made them as well?
Oh, and Nina, I gave her guidance because I see she's doing all this blessing of other people.
You want to kind of match up?
Oh, Nina got
Yeah.
a 4.
A 4,
Yeah,
okay.
you
So
get a
Nina and Dawn
D4.
are kind of more concerned with looking after everybody else than actually figuring this
and
out.
I'm trying to look after Nina because I know.
I love it. And then Talisman are inquisitive.
That's a dirty 20.
A dirty 20. So I'd say, yeah, for Elixir and Bethry, man, there's definitely something about it. You get the impression that it's a fake name. I would say that you guys
Right.
can figure out that, like, this isn't a real name. This is a fake name. Sparkle, there is... It's the letters. There's something about the letters that is kind of like tricking you. And then I think, obviously, if you guys want to figure stuff out on your own, but I think it's Talisman who realizes this is an anagram. This is actually an anagram of another name.
What was the name? Now we're gonna go.
Did you type it up in the?
I
that
did.
was
I
in
will
the
post.
chat?
It is in the chat. Uvagor Sil Honor.
It's I've got it. It's
Yeah.
it's Harvin.
Yeah.
Yes, it is indeed
it's
Harvin Sunglory, the person who hired you. It's his name, which is very odd.
Right. Well, it seems to have been planted here for scapegoats by is the obvious play here, but
Wait a minute. Does that mean we're not gonna get paid?
Wait, are you saying that this is somehow connected to Harvin?
My good man.
Scoundrel.
Read the name properly. It's clearly a pseudonym.
It is indeed. Yes, I did think it was something strange about it, but now that you mention it, it is an anagram of Harvel's name.
Yeah.
That scoundrel. I knew that he. Shouldn't have trusted him.
The obvious thing is that his invention is a fraud, and he's hoping to sabotage the entire thing.
That must be it.
It's the gut feel. It's the obvious solution. But anyone else have any thoughts?
I think we need to go talk to him.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Well, he should be arriving in a few hours or so. The ceremony, the festival is supposed to be beginning at dawn. It's only a few hours to go until the sun begins to rise. You could wait for him here, or we could ambush him with the truth, expose him for the fraud that he is.
Publicly embarrass him.
Indeed.
Before we do, though, you've got a clever mind. Would you mind having a look at his invention and maybe discerning its true purpose?
Well, I must admit, I'm actually familiar with it already. You see, I've I helped. Some would say that I've done most of the work. But yes, now that you've exposed him for this fraudster, I should reveal it. The device, the intention of it is a new transportation vehicle, one that runs without need for horses or carriages or beasts. It has an engine. The design of which Harvin came up with himself. I found it very strange. It uses a bound elemental. To create energy that then drives the wheels and the gears and the systems, which are the things I designed, the true marvel of the device. Supposedly, this elemental engine will power it and drive it to create locomotion. Very strange design, I must admit. The idea was that such things would enable you could transport goods for miles. You know, horses wouldn't get tired. Anyone can use it. It would be a true marvel. But I think that you are right, my dear halfling friend. That there's no way such a device would work. This is all. I think that Harvin must have planned for it to be attacked so that he could claim some sort of disaster had happened before he's shown for the fraud that he is.
Well, luckily the device was unharmed. The unveiling can go as planned.
Yeah, then we can show him for the fraud that he is. Indeed.
And we still did what we were paid for.
Do we believe him?
Yeah, I was gonna say I am giving like mom stink eye insight. Like,
yeah,
absolutely. Go. Give me some insight checks if you guys ain't believe in what Segmore is throwing your way.
Sure.
I'm going to use the advantage that someone nicely gave to me.
Very good. Very
We
good.
got a nat 20 for 24.
Oh my god, you
nice.
guys are all rolling so high.
I only rolled 10, so I got 17.
And I got
17.
10
Okay.
total.
Yeah, I got a nat 20 for 28.
Oh my god, the detective. The detective.
The
Okay.
eyebrow shoots up
21.
and you just stare.
21.
Oh, wow.
Right. I will say this. Anybody who gets above 21, so 21 or higher, you notice some things. Again, insight's not like a lie detector, right?
Sure.
It's more picking up on body language. Anybody who gets to 21, I'm going to do a special thing for Talisman because this is Talisman's whole thing is being Sherlock Holmes. But anybody who gets above a 21, you can see that there is Segmore's way too eager. Like there's an element here where as soon as you hinted that Harvon was involved, he jumped on it. And he was just like, yes, a fraud. Absolutely. We should expose him immediately. Let's do it in front of everybody. He's too eager and too optimistic. He also keeps glancing back to where the fractured crystal is. Like you do see his eyes just kind of flick towards it now and then. Talisman, like if this was Sherlock Holmes, you would, you can smell, there is a smell of oil and ozone on Segmore as he's explaining this. You also look around and you can see that sticking out of his pocket is a pair of scissors and a piece of string, a string you recognize, the string that you planted on the door earlier this very evening. That's been cut, and he's got a pair of scissors sticking out with just a few threads of this string hanging off the blades. The way he keeps flicking his eyes towards the crystal, and the way that he was too eager to jump on Harvard. You suspect that a person who is capable of creating all these wonderful inventions, he must have known that name was an anagram. He would have worked that out long ago, that was an anagram for Harvan's name. And this all kind of comes to your mind and fruition as this thing. And Segmore is like, well, it is still late, but there are still a few hours before the unveiling, and the rest of us should get changed and prepare for the arrival of the public, and then we can show Harvon for who he is.
Well, if you could just. One last thing, that the puzzle's not quite complete yet, and I will
Just
turn him around.
one more thing, I'll
Excuse me, ma'am. Just one more thing, ma'am.
Walk him towards the crystal, and as I do it, I want to pull the string out. How do you explain circumventing my trap for your protection, sir?
Well, it circumventing is a strong word.
Well,
as we opened the door, I noticed that there was the string had been placed across. I didn't want you to think that it was more intruders, so before we came in, I quickly cut it before the others arrived.
Well, but a man of your intelligence and ingenuity, surely you would have seen past this ruse. Surely it's obvious. It's obvious to me. It must have been obvious to
I must have been so
mind.
Caught up with preparations that it slipped my mind. This crystal arrived only a few days ago. I mean, we have the receipts of the package arriving. The other acolytes can attest to that. I must have just simply slipped my mind. I've been so preoccupied with the ceremony, with this grand reveal.
My tiger stands up and starts circling him.
I'm going to, so while he's being interrogated, I'm going to secretly cast Zone of Truth.
I'm good.
Okay.
So that's going to be on the ground behind him, but I'm acting like my bumbling self, but I'm just going to carefully cast Zone of Truth and then sort of nod over at Talisman to keep asking questions.
Okay, I do get a saving throw against it, but I rolled it with disadvantage, and he does appear to have failed the saving throw.
Sweet.
And the tiger is keeping him in the zone.
He's just like, where did that beast come from? Strange thing. I don't remember that traveling with you.
So then
He's a friend. Yeah, I got you.
Oh, good.
He's a
More
friend.
protection.
But why don't you tell me about where this actually came from?
He looks at it. He's like, well, and I guess he wouldn't know he's been affected by the spell. So he goes to speak. He's like, well, I built it. I mean, he like looks around and realizes that he's like glancing around at all of you. He's just like, I mean, what to say is that I built it and I sent it from. I mean, I tampered with it. No, and he's like getting caught up in his words as you're all kind of like surrounding him, and he's just like,
And what kind of enchantment have you put on it?
Well, I suppose it's too late now. You weren't supposed to be here. I disposed of Harvon's last mercenaries. I managed to convince them not to take the job. And it seems that he managed to hire some more with his outrageous wealth. You weren't supposed to be here tonight.
Does that mean we are going to get paid?
You may get
Fortune
paid,
and glory.
yes.
Fortune and glory, there three.
Fortune and glory, indeed. Or perhaps you will be paid in death. And he goes to pull something out of his little
I
night
cast
robes and throw
Hold
it down.
Person.
A tiger
Okay.
bites his leg.
Let's go around. Nina?
I'm going to look at him and just square hard eye contact since he's also a halfling. And
Okay.
just, I am very disappointed in you.
Meanwhile, so
cast
you say
vicious
that.
mockery.
Okay,
That's a
and then
vicious
we have
mockery.
the tiger pounce, and then Dawn casts hold person on this guy. Okay, so vicious mockery. Let's do that first.
7 points of psychic damage.
Okay, does he get a saving? I think he gets a saving throw, right?
He gets a save. Yes, I think so.
Okay, and he is a gnome, so he has advantage. So the vicious mockery doesn't affect him, like you say. I'm very disappointed with you, and it kind of manages to glance off his cunning gnomish mind. Then we'll have the tiger pouncing for Segmore.
Okay, I'm trying to read pounce. It's a lot of words. Claw attack on the same turn. Okay, so it has to hit with a claw attack, and then it can.
Sure.
So.
Make an attack roll.
15.
15. He actually brings up his hand, and as a reaction, he's going to cast the shield spell. The tiger's claws kind of sink into the shield, and he's like, ah! And he like blocks it with an invisible shield. So the tiger's attack kind of bounces off of that. And then Dawn, you're going to cast hold person, right? What's the DC?
Right. 14.
14. Again, he's a gnome, so he does have advantage on this, which I'm just checking that nobody gave me disadvantage. No, they didn't. So that total is going to be 14. So he manages to kind of like avoid the paralysis, and he's just and as seeing all of this.
Attacks.
Okay, make a second attack for me. Let's see if the second attack can get through the shield. The shield does, the AC boost does continue. It doesn't. So it kind of, he manages to finishing. He throws something down on the ground, and there is a blinding flash of light. I need everybody to make Constitution
Could I try to
saving
steal
throws.
that?
If you would like to try and
swipe
steal
it out
it
of
as
his
your
hand.
reaction, absolutely.
Yeah.
You get one chance to do this. This is going to be a sleight of hand versus his sleight of hand.
So
This is
good.
great.
I wish I. Yeah.
19 plus 7 is
Whoa.
26.
Okay.
Yeah, this
So I
dice
think-
is haunted. I swear to
So
God.
he goes to throw it down, and you see this like metal sphere, and you manage to kind of like drop your body and you catch it before it connects to the ground. So it stops it impacting. I'd say that it still probably goes off because it's triggered by impact, but you manage to close your fist around it and look away. This blinding light that would have blinded all of you if it had gone off is just enough. Like Talisman manages to stop it from blinding you all. And you see Segmore has just turned and is just running for the door. And he's just like,
I'm going to use the
tiger
rope.
chasing.
I'm going to
okay,
use the
let's have
animated
Bethra
rope
use his
and snap
rope.
him. Yeah.
I'll make a
Snap
dex
it out
saving
like
throw.
a whip.
So he doesn't get advantage on dex saving throws. It's only on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And the rope kind of and wraps around his legs, and he just goes and slams face first into the stone floor.
I'll be like,
as he does so.
Drag him
You
back.
just hear like a mumbling, like you start dragging him back as he's like desperately clawing, like, no, it wasn't supposed to happen like this.
We would like your input on the big musical number tomorrow. So why don't you? And the rope is going to slowly wind its way around it. Why don't you tell us about how you're going to reveal yourself to the crowd and tell them?
I will tell you nothing.
The tiger spits on him.
It just kind of like squeaks him down. There's probably a couple of like knocks at the door, and you can like all the other acolytes who have been watching this. You just see Zim Zam Zambo is just like, oh yes, marvelous, very good show. I loved it, brilliant. The other two look a little bit more shocked and appalled at Segmore's behavior. But it doesn't take long for like things like people to start kind of like you can hear like the crowds beginning to grow outside. And yeah, they're probably going to go and probably fetch militia guards if you'd like them to. They'll happily go and fetch some guards to take Segmore under arrest with witnesses to bear witness to the things he confessed to. In the morning, Lord Harvon will arrive. He comes in bright, smiling face. He has brought a platter of fresh pastries. He has a bottle of like chilled juices in his hand. He's just like, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's ready for a wonderful revelation of my wondrous new invention.
Terribly excited.
What happened here? And he kind of looks around.
The toilet went wild.
That is the baseline descriptor right there. The toilet went wild.
Oh,
We
well,
had to put it down.
Oh,
on
what a
toilet.
shame. I was quite fond of it. I think there was a lot of promise in the design. I don't think I would have bought one for myself just yet, but maybe in a few iterations, a version 2 or 3 perhaps. I think that they'll be all the rage. Self-cleaning chamber pots. Marvelous.
One of the interesting things was that it was trying these animated. They all animated and went for your tarp, and we're trying to pull it off. And I don't know what they were going after, but we stopped.
Is everything all right? You stopped.
Yeah, we stopped them, but I don't know what they were after.
Something did fall off, something small under there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
well, I can take a look at that before the big unveiling, make sure everything's fine. Segmore can probably assist me in that. He's quite handy with his hands.
No.
Might be a bit wrapped up.
As you see over, like, there's a tiger sat on this gnome wrapped up in the rope, just like.
Yeah, he's busy right now.
You need to choose better play friends.
Oh, well, what happened? And thank you for protecting my invention. But why is Segmore wrapped up? And what happened?
I cast exposition and I tell him
Love it. It's a powerful spell. It should be a 9th level spell. It shouldn't be a 1st level spell. Exposition works wonderfully. Yeah, cantrip exposition works brilliantly. You catch him up on all the details, and Lord Harvon looks shocked. He looks absolutely appalled. He's like, well, I'm shocked to hear of Segmore's betrayal. I tried to treat him well. I gave him compliments and told him that he was going to be included in all of my books about the device and his hard work. But shocking. But still, the show must go on. We still have a performance to make. We still have a device to unveil. I think that let's put the past behind us. Let the city guards deal with Segmore, and let's go out there and show the people the future of Waterdeep.
very excited. I'll take
Yeah.
Nina aside and say, probably best to pay us a private watch.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And then I'm
Perfect.
gonna certainly go. But before the big performance, I think I
Yes.
think we've done such a good job. Maybe we could get like a half and half kind of situation going. Like if you've got some coin weighing you down right now, I'm sure it would really help.
I'm sure I have. I have something on me, certainly. And he
that'd be
he
great.
pulls out a velvet bag.
Not that I
and
don't trust you or that the audience is going to go wild. I'm sure they're going to just rain coinage down upon you, sir.
He pulls out a selection, like a handful, maybe like 6 large sapphires out of just a bag that he has on him. And he's like, oh, well, here we go. One for you, and one for you, and one for you. They look like they're worth a good 500 gold each, these sapphires. And he's like, yes, this should cover some of it. And then we'll
hold on to
dispense
the
with
one
rest.
for the tiger. Yeah. It's fine,
Oh,
it's
yes,
fine.
of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think he hands it to Bethry, and then you see Sparkle glaring at you, Bethry, and you can have that conversation together.
I was just guarding it.
Perfect.
And I'm going to kip 5 of the pastries and dash outside to go find Oliver and company.
Yes, Oliver and company. They kind of look at you. Oliver's just like, well, there was no trouble from our end, miss. I hope you're still going to pay us.
Of course. You do job well done. And give them each a pastry and
Yeah,
and
they
gold.
grab the pastries and the gold, and then they look around, run, and then they just split off. And they got to keep their ball bearings too, which they're very pleased with. So they all dash off. In terms of the performance, before we kind of wrap things up, because I want to see what I think that I'm going to ask our bards, especially Bethry and Sparkle here, what does this kind of look like? Do you guys have plans? The crowd, the Day of Wonder is like a parade, right? It goes through the streets of Waterdeep. There are like floats and processions and musicians and things, but to kick things off, right outside the Hall of the Inspired Hands, there's this large crowd gathered. The device is wheeled out through the main doors, out into the town square. Harvon steps up onto it in a true showman fashion. He's like, ladies and gentlemen of Waterdeep, I am Lord Harvon Sunglory, and I have present to you the future of Waterdeep. And now, to celebrate this situation, and he
Got a little
gestures down.
drum, and I'm gonna literally get a drum roll going, brrrr, and then I'll use prestidigitation to echo the sound in multiple locations with a little bit of Dolby, surround sound going on here.
Yeah, and I'll do thaumaturgy with some extra intensity and make it really, yeah.
I love it.
And I'll
What
give
about
both of the other bards inspiration as well.
Nice. What do Elixir, do you want to do anything with this, or are you just kind of letting them kind of like do it while you do other things?
Yeah, probably. I'm not the best performer, so it's probably not going to be something I do.
Well, I think because you're not like a sorceress, right? And you've kind of got like this noble. So I think Harvon would probably invite you up onto the tram, he calls it. He invites you up to stand next to him, just to kind of like smile and wave and look good to the crowd, right? So like he's kind of got you next to him as he does this. And then Talisman, what about yourself? Before we go to the true performer, I think, who is going to be Sparkle, who's going to give us the performance check. But what about Talisman?
I'd be sorting out the City Watch, making sure reports are filed, just doing the actual work we got paid to do.
Yeah, exactly. Doing the actual like responsible work of the investigator. I love it. And then Sparkle, yeah, you have like the floor for a performance, and with all your help from your allies, this is definitely going to be advantage with bardic inspiration as well.
Okay, so she has her hypnotic pattern that she's going to do without damage and just have it like sparkles all around the tram as she does a little like performance and the sparkles coming out of her lyre.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah.
Just dances around the tram.
I love it. Give me a performance check with advantage, and you can add the bardic inspiration, the D8 as well. D8 with advantage, thanks to the College of Creation.
Yes.
I'm going to use my luck too.
Yeah. Use it because this is wrapping up now. So
11 plus
Hash it all in.
plus 25.
25.
Jeez,
the crowd loves it. Like you hype them up, the music, the lights, Bethrie's kind of like Dolby echoing and like reverberation, Dawn's boosting of the thaumaturgy and everything else kind of going around. The crowd loves it. And as the kind of tarp is pulled away, this tram, this like train device is unveiled. Harvon takes the wheel, and you watch Elixir. He has a tattoo that you hadn't seen before. His shirt, as he grips the wheel, it reveals it. A strange kind of like curving black pattern that kind of wraps around his wrist, and it glows as he grips the wheel, and lightning surges into the engine, and you watch as this kind of sparkling storm begins to brew in the heart of this device, and then the wheels begin to... and as slowly it begins to pull away, and it begins to kind of step away from the crowd. And the crowd just lose it. They're like, oh my God. And they're like chasing after it. He invites anybody of you who want to join him. Harvon, it's moving slowly enough that you could jump up onto the thing. And he's like, come, my friends, come.
I jump up.
Yeah, so Dawn jumps on as well.
Yeah, no,
Right
totally.
Keep the show going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put my arms up for someone to pick me up.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I do. I absolutely.
Yeah, Dawn definitely puts the two half
yeah,
on, and then
Nina. Yeah. I
Yeah,
got
we'll
her
jump
line.
on.
Sparkle.
yeah. So you all get on, and the parade just continues progressing, and this kind of locomotive tram picks up and goes through the streets of Waterdeep at speed. As it does, all of you hear in your minds a voice, and it comes through.
Pop quiz, hot shots. You're on a runaway invention that's been rigged with a magical explosive. The device goes off if the invention slows down. It goes off if anybody gets off. Tell the City Watch, I want 50,000 gold and a scroll of teleportation delivered to the statue in the Grand Market in 1 hour. Otherwise, it's kaboom.
And that is where we're going to end this little one shot with a lovely little cliffhanger.
Nice.
Oh, that's so
Nice.
awesome.
And
Wonderfully done, GM.
A total
I'm
party
sad
kill.
that I did not get to my speed segment of the adventure, but I think that's a great place to stop and maybe pick up one day for another Jasper's Game Day, perhaps.
Madness.
But yeah,
Wonderful.
I just want to say, yeah, that's like a really great place to stop. I love stopping on like those kind of big epic cliffhangers.
Yeah.
Get like a little bit of time before the next stream. Fantastic game, everybody. Thank you so much for playing and being such great players. You all did really wonderfully. I know for some of you, you haven't streamed D&D before, and I'm sure it was a bit of a kind of different avenue for playing in home games, but you all did brilliantly. It was really, really fun.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, thank you.
Well,
No,
the cast and the DM is really always what makes the difference, right? You're leading
Absolutely.
the charge, and you did a
Oh.
wonderful one. So
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a fun little adventure with a nice little setup maybe for the future as well. But,
That would be great. I'd love
yes.
to do that.
Amazing. Well, don't forget, and the other thing I want to say is thank you to everybody who donated and who's helped raise money for Jasper's Game Week, not just in our stream, but in all the streams. Those of you who did the raffles to win these seats in the games as well, thank you guys so much for doing that and raising this money for such a great cause of mental health and suicide awareness as well. And yeah, just there's loads of more games, or awesome games coming today. You've got a ton more, including a game run by Deborah Ann Wall, who I know a lot of people are going to be super excited to watch as well. Loads more games coming throughout the week. Just loads more cool D&D stuff to check out. I don't know if I should be doing like a wrap up here or like if there's anything else I need to say. Jim, you want to say anything? Megan, you want to say anything? Dr. Megan?
You go first,
you.
Megan. Yeah.
Yeah, just thank you all so much. Like this, Fenway blows me away with how successful she's been with creating Jasper's Game Day. And
Yeah.
So amazing.
Is so important, especially with how much stress and anxiety has been increasing this year. I think we're going to need a lot more resources. And so really just thank you all so much. And also thank you for just enjoying, having fun. Like that's so important, is just to sit down and have fun. So,
Yeah, it's so crucial to come together as groups and to support each other. And D&D and role-playing games are all about having great times with your friends and spending good time together and empowering each other. So thank you for supporting the cause. Thank you for playing, and thank you for watching. It means so much to all of us. And being even just a small part of the D&D crew and seeing the explosive growth over the past, since the launch of 5th edition, it's still surreal to me to see how far and wide it's come, and what we've been able to accomplish, and what, the amount of goodwill there is amongst the community for causes like this. So please, keep bringing your friends on board. Keep supporting each other, and keep making awesome memories.
Awesome memories, absolutely. So well said.
I'd really like to thank everybody too for the awareness piece, because as a therapist, the stigma that people have and the struggle to get help or to talk to people, this is so important to make it okay, that health is okay, mental health is okay. So this charity, it's important work, and it's a lot of fun, and you can heal in that fun space of play.
Super well said.
But thank you.
No, absolutely. Brilliant message, and 100% agree. Also, a big thank you to all the sponsors as well, because I know Fenway's got some amazing sponsors, including D&D Beyond, who hosted this stream for us and everything else. Really great. Thank you guys so much. And most importantly, thank you very much, everybody at home, for watching. I think that's going to be it for us. Enjoy the next games. Until next Jasper's Game Day. Thank you all so much.
Take care.
Bye.